Yeah. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. It's your boy Blue, and we're back on the Blue Experience. As you can see on your screen, we are live, fresh off of Flight Sim Expo 2025 in Providence, Rhode Island. We got the boy CST Gaming right next to me, Pilot Depth over on his right. We got Leo 6 on the bottom left, the homie Owls FS on the center, and the homie XP on the bottom right. Say what's up, guys.
What's up? What's up?
What
Yo,
is going on?
welcome aboard.
Nice. So
yes.
obviously today, as we are all just fresh off the jet, landed back in our hometowns from Expo, so we have a lot to talk about. It's gonna be a recap stream. We're gonna talk about what we liked, we disliked, what we loved, what we hated, all about Expo, what we think about next year's Expo, and everything in between. So where should we start, XP?
Oh man, geez, you have to come to me with the hard question already.
I mean, we could do it in
it's
chronological
it's
order. How
so
about we just
much.
start
No,
with
no. Where would you
start with
start?
Thursday or Friday?
Well, yeah, but let me just say right off the bat, having been to what, five of these now, Blue, me and
Yes,
you, I think,
yes.
and a couple of you guys two and three of these, it's like you think you'll get used to it. It's like, just another expo. I'm just gonna cruise through. Nah, it doesn't go down like that. As soon as you see your friends, as soon as you see your people that you know, people that you don't know online, it takes on a whole different atmosphere, and anything is likely to happen. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anymore. What happened in Rhode Island stays in Rhode Island. But anyway, let's go. Somebody else get it.
By the way, I want to take one quick shout out. We are all live on our own channels. Well, not me, but CST Gaming is live, so you can check him out. Pilot Depth is live. Leo Sticks is live. XP, are you on your channel as well?
No.
No,
I'm
we're
on
just here on the
Blue
Blue Experience
Experience channel.
podcast.
That's it. That's
So
where we are.
definitely give those guys support on their channels as well. Hop in their
Yep.
chat. But yeah, anyway, so yeah,
And also
CST.
check the
Go
link
ahead.
in the description for CST's Owls, Leo, and Pilot Depth's channel. So the link is here. Join them up. Hit the sub.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a great weekend. I'll start it off. We had a great weekend. We had a lot of fun at the event and outside the event. My voice might sound a bit weird. I'm still trying to get my voice back because we went a little too hard over the weekend.
Party
But
too hard.
yeah, I mean, let's talk about our trips, right? Like, how was flying in and out of Providence this year? Oh, I was
Well,
muted.
Who's the furthest? Who flew from the furthest distance?
I
I
flew
think
from
Mike
Orlando.
did.
Yeah, probably Mike.
But
Yeah.
I think in here, yeah, it was probably Waggy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Orlando's the
Or
farthest?
CST. Orlando.
CST.
Oh no, XP's in Palm Beach. So
Yeah, I'm in Palm Beach. I think mine was like almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes. But honestly, the flight was like, this is why I book direct flights. I don't like connecting. So it was just, all right. So I'm not going to show off, but literally Palm Beach is 15 minutes from my airport, from where I live. I park in the parking lot. It takes 5 minutes from the lot to TSA. And because I have TSA pre, I'm at the gate in like 10 minutes, something like that. It's crazy. But it was
That's pretty
JetBlue,
quick.
direct flight, and it worked out well. Just no delays going. We had a traffic delay coming back, which is kind of funny. It's like they were slowing down traffic because I guess Boston, Providence, and all the New York airports, whatever. But it was good. No problems with my flight at all.
So are we
Yeah,
talking?
we
I'm
had-
sorry if I intrude here. Are we
Go ahead.
talking longer distance or longest flight? Because
Uh-oh.
there's a
You got
difference,
longest
right?
Flight?
we do
you get
flight. Yeah.
What'd you
Because
have?
I
Connecting
I
flight,
did
PST?
connecting flights. So I landed in DC first, and then from DC I went to Providence. So 2 flights, but I mean I don't know. It wasn't that long. It was like six something hours with the
Jeez.
downtime. Yeah, not bad.
Who'd you fly
Okay,
with?
that's the
Southwest.
longest.
Yeah, Southwest. Yeah. And on the way
Hold on,
back, I got to fly on a Max Isles. Just saying.
Nice. Well, hold on. Did you get assigned seats on Southwest? Did they switch to assigned seats
No.
yet, or still?
They still
No.
do
No.
boarding.
They still do pre-boarding, but what I do is I check in very early, so I get like alpha, so I board like first line.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I get whatever
I've
I
also
want.
noticed they actually don't really care about like your number because we were accidentally in the 1 through 15 line and I had 34. I was like the 5th person on the airplane.
Unless you're somebody like me, I go through every person and I'm like, "What's your number? What's your
What's
number?
your number?
I
What's
want
your
my
number?"
spot,
You're,
bro.
you're that
Pay
guy.
for my spot."
Yeah, I know.
That was great, man.
Yeah, we had obviously flying out of Baltimore. It was scheduled to be an hour and 15-minute flight. We were there in 50 minutes. I will say we did come in hot. The pilot had to do one of those NASA shuttles S turns to get us in there. But
Oh,
overall,
man.
we had a bit of weather. Speaking to all of the guys, I think we had most of the chop. Seatbelt signs were on early, and we had some pretty good chop coming in there. But for us, fun ride.
Let's
Other than that, go ahead,
sorry,
Blue.
let's rewind back because I thought something Leo did was super freaking dope leading up to Expo. He had 10 freaking guys fly
Oh
into his
yeah,
house
yeah.
for the night for like the pre-party.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
so we-
word.
so
Tell
we
us about
had-
that real quick.
So we had the crazy idea of, hey, why don't we all meet up in Baltimore and take the same flight up to Expo? All of my guys, freaking awesome idea. So they came in actually Wednesday. So they came in Wednesday. Geo, Rock City, Greenlight, Captain Will, all of those guys came in Wednesday, hung out, and then we also had the crazy idea. Well, gee, what if we did a stream from my area, from my home? And you see how that turned out. So it was a
Bro,
blast.
live.
We did our simple expo flight. Geo took off and got us up to cruise. I let them boys have it, check out my setup. And then I, did the approach and arrival into Providence. So it was
Nice.
fun. It was fun. It was a nice experience. And I think we're gonna do it this year. Little disclaimer though, or not disclaimer,
Uh-oh.
little sneak peek. We're thinking about doing it again next year. Only leaving out of Atlanta to take the A350 from Atlanta to Minneapolis.
Okay, there we go. Well,
that is a
So-
good idea right there. Like fly to like an
So-
airport, whatever, like a dope plane, and then like all experience like a 350, 78, 777, whatever, like together, like to fly. That's one of the cool things. I was talking to somebody about this at Expo, which is why it's cool to have it at your hometown, right, for the convenience. But it's also cool to not have it at your hometown because part of the Flight Sim Expo experience is actually flying in to the event.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Where'd you fly from?
so I hopped on the early morning Southwest flight from Orlando.
Guys,
direct
welcome to the stream,
Providence,
man. It's
and
awesome to have you
I
guys on
woke
stream
up
and
at
chat.
around
I don't want to talk over other
4:30,
people.
left the
That's why I'm
house.
not talking as much.
It was
but
like a
I
30-minute
appreciate you guys.
drive to
Be sure
Orlando.
to smash that like
and
button if you guys like
parked
this
the
type
car,
of
got
content.
there,
And yeah, welcome. Glad to have you
boy,
guys.
check-in for bags was like out the door. So we had to actually cut the line because we were like boarding in like 50 minutes and quickly dropped off the bags, ran through TSA, and luckily, right when we got there, turns out we got a plane change. So they completely switched our plane. Plane was being pulled up into the gate with the tug. So it was a little sigh of relief. And then funny enough, while walking to the gate, I ran into wrong side. And he was
nice.
trying to jump seat onto my flight, but it was
That's
jump
big.
seat was full, so he ended up hopping on like the Breeze flight right after. But yeah, going up was a little bit crazy trying to make the flight, but once we made it, it was completely full flight. By the way, I was in the back row, got the last window seat, and then going back home yesterday was a nightmare.
Oh man. So here's a question for you guys. Alzi there. I'm not sure if Alzi here, but when he comes back, he'll tell us who he took. How many of you, as you said, you met wrong side? How many of you met passengers on your plane that was going to Expo? Because something happened to me in the terminal, which was crazy.
So V-Pilot Designs was on my flight going up, and I didn't
Nice.
know it. But last night I ran into him, and he was on my same flight going home.
That was
So
crazy.
yeah, V-Pilot's in my chat right now. But what's up? But yeah, it was fun running into him. Same with the wrong side. And then, but going home last night, we were supposed to depart at like 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. And we kept getting plane changes after plane changes. And it keeps on getting pushed back like 11 p.m., 11:30, 11:45. Then it finally goes
airline?
like midnight, Southwest.
Oh wow.
And so then so the way that call sign works is, and it's weird how Southwest system is they operate multiple legs under the same call sign. So they operate Baltimore to Providence and then Providence to Orlando. And so the plane was still in Providence and it flew up to it was in Baltimore, it flew up to Providence and then had to take us to Orlando. So plane came in around 12:30ish and then we finally boarded, quickly got up on out of there, but got in around 3 a.m. and then didn't get home till 4. So it was a little crazy.
I will say real quick that is the beauty of getting the early flight out, less chances
Yep.
of delay.
We were about to change it. We were about to change
Yeah.
it to the 5 a.m. and just book a hotel.
Yep.
There are
first
guys
flight of the day.
there's guys that's still trying to get home right now.
Oh,
What?
man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like Will
Huh.
Will and them just recently left out of
Wow.
Providence.
Well, they wanted
Wow.
first
Oh my
class.
God,
so.
dude.
Yeah, Green Light
Oh.
is not too long ago departing out of Providence. He's got to stop in Chicago and then get all the way back to Phoenix.
Man, it's funny you guys say that because I
I was home
actually
before 10 this morning. So
yeah.
Yeah, yep.
No, I was gonna say I actually I was supposed to stay at the expo until Monday, but last minute I was
Okay.
like, look, everybody's leaving. Most of the people were leaving on Sunday afternoon. I was like, what am I gonna do here by myself? So I decided to
Could've come hang out with us.
well, I thought you was gone. XP was gone. You stayed until Monday, Blue.
Yeah, I left this morning.
I didn't get the memo.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, but
You're good.
I changed my flight to Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I mean I paid a little bit of money, but it is
yeah.
what it is. At the end of the day, I think I'm glad I did it, and I'm probably gonna do things a little bit differently next year when it comes to flying in and flying out. To I guess minimize expenses in a way. Maybe do a little
Mhm.
smarter than I did this year. But yeah, and going back to what the previous question that you had regarding, hey, did you see anybody going to the expo on your flight? I'm almost ashamed of saying this because you meet so many people, right? And I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big VIP or anything like that. So whenever I do encounter some people that walk by me on the plane, boarding the plane, they're like, CST, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, dude. You know, so, hey, good to meet you. So yeah, I did see probably about three or four people boarding the same flight from DC to Providence that were going to the expo. They introduced themselves and yeah, I mean it's awesome to actually experience that, right? I even had and I was very humbled by it. I had a kid that came up with a nice poster that he made himself. And he was like, "Hey, CST, can you sign this?" And I saw that XP had signed it, and I think Blue signed it as well. So I was like, okay, man, it's
That
Yeah, I
kid
saw
was
that
smart.
kid later.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
later on.
I didn't know what to say. I was
Yeah,
like,
on
oh my
him.
god, dude!
That was
like,
him. If I was a kid, I would sell that poster for like 20 grand or
yeah,
something.
20 grand.
He caught me over by the Bluebird booth,
yeah.
and I was just like, me? I'm just little old Leo. Like,
He's like, you know
really?
me? You know me? What?
Right. So, it was pretty cool. And it was also,
Yeah.
piggybacking off what CST said, it's definitely humbling to
Oh,
meet these
absolutely.
people out in public and be able to experience the love and passion for aviation as we so often do.
So,
I might have to
like,
bring my own poster next year. Like it's like a yearbook signing. You know what I
right?
mean?
There
Yeah.
you go.
That's
Sign
the
this.
yeah.
Well, this brings up a good question I have for you guys then, because um, you guys have been a couple of expos at least, and my question is, what do you think? Well, not what you go to the expo for, but is it interaction with people or is it the hardware at the expo? How do you put those? Which comes first for you guys? You know.
Honestly, for me, it's the people. It's like
Yeah.
you talk to people in Discord like all day in VC, just joking around with each other, and you actually see them like in real life. It's like I like the people aspect a little bit more. Products are cool, but meeting your friends you're always talking to is pretty sick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
even
agree.
so
I agree.
even
From
when you're talking hardware, right, and developers and manufacturers of peripherals, it's still people, right? You get to meet these people and get to see what they actually are like. Talking to a lot of these people through emails, you really don't have that one-on-one. Okay, once you actually do put the face to the name and you get to meet who knew that the CEO of Synaptic was 21 years old? I mean,
What?
exactly.
that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
it's
he's a young boy.
insane. It's insane, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to meet these people, that you have an idea of what they might look like, or what they might sound like, or what they might carry themselves like, it's one thing. But when you actually meet them and you're like, holy crap, right? It's like I'm sorry. Did you say you're 21 years old? That's
you mean
awesome, dude.
basically, I take back everything I said bad about you online. Go back.
No, but that's the thing, right? So, and obviously the people, because we're hanging out at the expo all day, but we're all like coming up to each other and we're like, hey, what are you doing later? Are we going out to eat? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? And we all, like Leo actually had the great idea of making this group chat, putting us on there so everybody knows what we're all
Great idea.
doing and hang out at the end of the day. But that's what's cool, like building those bridges, building the community, building a relationship with other content creators, streamer, and evolving into a great friendship.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for the idea. Big Ralph tasked me to make the group chat.
Yeah,
for WhatsApp. So.
Whatever, whoever had the idea, it
So
was awesome.
for you guys in the audience, the group chat basically is like what was it on Insta? No, it's
WhatsApp.
on
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
What's that?
And with so many people and friends and creators going, like you're staying at different hotels or B&Bs or whatever, it's a way to tell people, hey, we're going to be at this restaurant or this bar, or we're going to meet up at this time, versus you by yourself trying to figure out where everybody else is. You just drop it in the group chat. So it's an impromptu group chat that works very well to know what's going on. If you want to know what's going on, check the group chat. You'll see some pictures and some stuff. Exactly. It's cool, but
Yeah.
it did work well. Absolutely. But yeah, for me, it's the people as well. Every time I go, like, I want to see the hardware. I want to see this. I want to see that. But when people talk to you, like, yeah, look, flight sim's a small community, and this is the only time, because outside of this, you tell people you do a flight sim, they look at you like, flight what? What is that?
Mhm.
But you get a building full of flight sim people, it's like, huh, they know what I'm talking about when I say flat
Yeah.
5, something like that. Except for the wives, that's it. They're like, oh my god, here we go. Yeah,
Bro,
but
shout out to the wives for real.
yes,
My
yes,
wife
that is
doesn't
true.
even want to come. She's like, "Flight sim, what? Did you go? Go."
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But that's the thing, the spouses that support the hobby, that not even content creators, just as regular guys. Like one guy I met, his wife, his birthday present was coming to Expo. She paid for everything.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was like that was his
Nice.
birthday present, and I was like, wow, I think it's Melvin, his name, if I remember correctly. But that's a good thing. But it's a people thing. I mean, I know we're gonna get into hardware manufacturers and what we thought about certain devices. I want
Yep.
to get into that, but all in all, it's the people. I'll give you a quick funny story, and this was like surreal to me. So coming back, JetBlue got delayed. I saw the first officer walk off the plane. Something said, "Hey, stop the guy and ask him, hey man, is it air traffic control? Is it weather? What's going on? Is it TFR?" He goes, "I don't really know. It's just like a flow thing." So like he left. In Palm Beach, I got off the plane. I was trying to see if I could go up to the cockpit, as all of us want to do, because hey, who doesn't want to go to? He wasn't in there. The captain was standing at the door. I was like, damn it. I walk off the jet bridge. The guy was standing there at the jet bridge. He pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey man, I know your voice. You sound familiar."
Really?
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
yeah, I think you do flights and whatever. I was like, yeah, thank you. And I was gonna go dip in my pocket and give him a sticker. And I'm like, dude, this is so stupid. You a fake pilot on the internet flying with a keyboard is gonna give you a sticker to a real pilot who just landed a jet with 200 people on
Oh
board.
man.
I'm like, don't do it. Walk away. Say thank you very much and leave. That was so
Oh,
funny. It's
man.
like, yeah, it was so cool. But
He said,
yeah,
"Don't
man,
do
That's
it.
hilarious.
Don't do it."
Don't do it.
yeah. Now, we could talk about hardware, and without mentioning WinWing, what impressed you?
Without.
Actually, before we go there,
All right, go ahead,
let's
Blue. Sorry.
the people. I think we all agree the people are the best part of Flight Sim Expo,
Okay,
even
for
before
sure.
the hardware. Obviously, there's a lot of hardware to see, a lot of great things. But let's talk about Friday night, the announcements, and the event. Let's talk about the events, the organization of the event, the announcements, how that went. What did you think of the whole Friday announcement event that we did? That was about what, 5 hours long.
Yeah, just about.
I think Friday is not one that I'm always excited for, just because I'm not a classroom setting type person. So it was exciting. Some of the things that we heard, that we saw. However, I was dozing. I think everybody was kind of tired. I had been up late. I didn't pack until maybe, I don't know, a couple hours before it was time to leave. So I was wore thin at that point. But um, I do enjoy of what we saw Friday.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the order is, but so that was one of those things that I've been debating. This is my second expo, and I am debating next year skipping Friday and flying in Friday night, and then doing Saturday, Sunday, and leaving Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. Because as much as I do enjoy the presentations and all that good stuff, um, I think, in a sense, for me, um, having to fork out all that money for those particular couple hours, I think it's a waste for me. I can very well just go online and watch it, restream it, whatever, right? Do all that and share the experience with other people, and then actually fly for the Saturday and Sunday event, which is we're the big thing, right? When we all get down to it. So I'm still debating. I'm probably still gonna be there on Friday, but we'll see. I'm heavily considering probably skipping the Friday.
I think I enjoyed a lot of the Friday announcements. It's just it seems like a lot of them were relating to AI, and I'm just not the. It's cool, but I'm just not the biggest fan of all the AI stuff. It's like there's an AI copilot, there's an AI ATC, an AI trainer, AI CFI. It's like it's cool, but once you're sitting there for an hour and a half talking about more AI, it got a little slow for me in my head, at least. A lot of stuff was cool though. I enjoyed, especially the I forgot the guy's name. I'll come back to it. I forgot his name. I'll have to look back at it. There's one really cool presentation.
I
there.
think for me, and I hate to say it, but a lot of the guys who are very creative are not good at either public speaking or selling their products. Does that make sense? You get a big audience in front of you. We got 5 minutes or 10 minutes they give you, and they're going to give you that. That's it. You got 10 minutes. They're going to walk off and shut the mic down, and it's not going to be good. I think you should sit at home if you have a product and decide what is the most exciting things I can show my audience to get them to want my product. We don't need a class. We don't need. You have a limited time, and if somebody could get into a developer ear and say, "Hey, you got a great product, but let me take over the presentation of it for you." Like 1 year, they gave it to Two-Tone Murphy to do, which was great.
That was
Right.
great, by the way.
That was great. So that was my only gripe with Friday. Is it make the presentations long because what was being presented at the time is like this might be cool, but like listening is like, yeah. So I know what CSC's talking about. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean.
I've been
Yeah.
a big advocate for the Friday concept. The idea, I believe, comes from like, E3 or gaming conferences, right? Where they have a night where they have a bunch of developers announce their big new titles for the next year, right? Which is usually pretty exciting because, like, oh, there's a lot of cool things coming out. I think the issue with Friday is that, for one, like XP says, the presentations themselves are pretty boring. These guys who are developers are great at their job, great at making products, but they're not good at public speaking. They're not good at putting together a slideshow and engaging people. And so it's just not interesting. I mean, I know some things we're just not interested in at all. Like Al said, he's not interested in AI. But even if he's not interested in AI, the person presenting AI should still find a way to engagingly, right, present the AI in a short. And also, I think that it depends on, like, if it's a really hot topic, like X-Plane or Microsoft or PMDG, something like that, they should get a longer time. If it's something that's like not so interesting, I mean, shouldn't be up there any longer than 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just a video. I mean, I know that they're paying for those slot times, so it's not based on popularity. But so one of my suggestions that I had was, for one, I think these developers next year, I hope they're watching. I hope Evan's watching. I hope some developers are watching. I think next year they need to take advantage of streamers, content creators, people who are used to talking in front of people. Like Phil there, for example, had that one streamer who plays the tower simulator. They had him out there with them talking, and he was actually cool, but the rest of them kind of were like awkward, right? So if they just had did like a rundown with him, it's like, hey, this is the things we want to talk about. Here's a slideshow. Here's the points, and obviously we'll have our dev at the booth on Saturday. So they want more in-depth details. They can come to the booth and kind of get the geeky stuff, right? Right now, we need you to kind of appeal to this large room of audience of people who have all these different interests. That's the other issue. It's like some people care about VFR, some people care
Yeah.
about airliner, some people care about AI, some people care about P3D. You know what I mean? And so it's hard to do that. So I think they need to, for one, get actual people who know how to control an audience, talk to people, to make it more engaging, and also just make the presentation as a whole more interesting. Like, it shouldn't just be like a school project that you're out there showcasing. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. And when you do that for 5 hours straight, that becomes really hard to withstand. So I just think they need to make it better that way. But I want the Friday thing to keep going. I want them to make that better, though. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. What do you think,
Hey.
Pilot Depth?
Well,
Yeah, sorry.
as it being my first expo, I definitely didn't know what to expect. Obviously, checking out what's gonna be, Friday day, what it's gonna be like, Saturday, same with Sunday. But yeah, I felt like some people were definitely they felt a little rushed to try and throw everything in to that 10-minute period. But same with other companies, some people knocked it out the park with their presentations. One
Yeah.
that really caught my eye and that I'm really interested to, and I'm definitely picking it up day one, is that Patriot. That
Yeah,
thing
easy.
Agreed.
is
Agreed.
awesome. So, yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed it. But I won't lie, as it started getting towards the end, I started to get a little bit tired because traveling all day, getting in the same day, and then eventually, starting to get exhausted, wanting to get food. I mean, we only had 8-minute breaks, which I feel like we could get maybe a 15-minute break or a little bit longer than just 8 minutes, because you just stand up for a bit and stretch your legs, and then okay, next presenter's up, you got to go sit down. But
I don't know if they did that this year. I know last year they had an actual lineup of who was presenting and what order, so people kind of knew when they want to show up, who they want to see, who to look forward to. I gotta be in session 3, right? I want to check out WinWing or whatever. Right. I don't remember seeing that this year.
Yeah,
I did notice. Go ahead, Leah. Yeah.
No, I was saying. Was this Al's or Leah?
Go for it.
Anyway, go ahead. Go for it.
Just real quick. Chat on my side is saying something interesting. Now Captain Will is saying, and this is an interesting point. He says for certain they aren't releasing in the same calendar year, then maybe consider are you going to present or not? What do you think about that? Because I mean, if this is something that's gonna be next year Q3 or something like that, well, why even take up that space? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was a complaint that I heard too from a few people that the stuff they were presenting was all right, well, this is cool and all, but I can't even use this for another year or longer.
Yeah, it's just to get excited about it for 10 minutes and all right.
Yeah. Now, the WinWing was cool because they show off this new stuff, and then we go on Saturday. We can at least touch it, right? We can just use it.
I mean, one thing I noticed, and credit to Evan and the guys over there at FSExpo, is that they cut out all the intros. Remember, they used to do it where the guy who was hosting it, Moose, would come on stage and bring up everybody else, and that wasted a good 5 minutes of intro to bring up somebody else. They just had it run into one or the other.
Right.
But the people themselves need to just capitalize on the time that they have and just make it exciting,
Yeah.
I cut you off, CSD. Sorry, go ahead.
I think everything has been already said. Yeah, I was going to follow up with Blue. I didn't see that this year. The list of presenters and the time slots and all that good stuff. I didn't see that at all. So I think that we're just trying to do it a little bit differently to where they would just control the flow, kind of like what Moose did, and be like, as soon as the time is up, he just jump on stage, cut the mic off, which I thought that was kind of. I don't think they should have done that, to be quite honest. But at the same time, maybe give him a warning. Jump on stage and be like, okay, finish this thought and that's it, right? Instead of just cutting the mic off and the guy's like,
showtime. Even
though I do think some presenters just are not good at it. It just feels like, for example, I can get behind of what Meridian is trying to do with all this stuff, right? But I think there was no thought process put behind the speech that Nick was doing. He just jumped on stage, he had his things. He's like, I'm gonna talk about these 2 things, and whatever. There's no, eating kind of when I do something like a video, I kind of do little notes. Okay, this is what the key points I need to hit, and that's it, right? I don't think he did that. He just I'm gonna go up there, shoot from the hips, shoot from the hips, and do it, right? When you look at Data Flight Sim here, my chat said. The tower simulation presentation was a disaster. The kid in the middle that every time somebody asked him a question, he's like, I don't know what to say. Why did you bring? Why did you bring that kid on stage, dude? He's about to have a heart attack.
So here's the thing with the cutting off of people thing. Let me defend Evan and the people for a second. They have a certain time that they have to close that down because the security outside and the vendors and all, they cut them off 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. We don't care. We're gonna cut the lights and the power to this event.
Yeah.
And so if
my
you
dad
make
got
everyone
kicked out.
exactly, see,
Wow.
really, so if you because they have all these union workers working for that whatever, doesn't matter if it's union or not. But if you make everybody creep an extra 2-3 minutes, by the time you get to a WinWing, instead of them getting the 15 minutes that they got, they're gonna get 4, and then we're gonna be pissed. Because they didn't get so it sucks. It's cringy. I feel embarrassed for them, but as CSC says, you got 5 minutes, you stay at home, you start the clock, and you start talking.
What sucks this year is that the ones that got cut off are the only ones we actually wanted to hear.
Yeah, like Meridian.
Meridian got cut off. He was literally yelling off the top of his lungs trying to finish his presentation. The other FlightSim.com guy with the cool yoke, feature that he was building up his whole presentation to talk about, and then just gets muted. I was like, come on.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how short 5 minutes is when you have to sell stuff.
Extremely
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, it's extremely short.
That's why you
And
got to
you
be
get
good with
nervous.
it. You got to hit your key
Yeah.
points and you got to be done with it.
Yeah. When you're
Yeah.
looking at 2,000 people in front of you, it's not the same as when you're in your office. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I got to make sure this works good. So, but but one thing about that day that you might want to reconsider CST. The presentation is one thing that can get dreary and tiring, but it's the after social event, like a party where you get your free drink or whatever. That mingling section, I like that because
Yeah, XP
now
could
you
not
get a
leave
bunch
that.
of people
He was.
drinking. And yeah. So you got a bunch of people, and then they want to talk. Like before, they were nervous. They didn't meet you. They didn't know who. Give them one drink, and they're hungry too on an empty stomach. Then you see the funny stuff come out. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Hey, just
I
time
would
out real
say
quick.
on
Is
the
it
one
just me
hidden-
or is XP cutting in and out sometimes?
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, he-
He was this last time, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about it.
I was gonna say the one hidden gem I think for Friday is live reactions.
True.
It's kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah,
I there's a couple guys next to me who were literally just making fun of people in certain presentations and things like that. Like being able to sit there next to like Owls or XP or whoever, and we're like sitting there watching it for the first time, and like we're like literally reacting to the guys like, man, what was he thinking? What was that? Or that's cool, or you know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed that part. Even though some of the presentations themselves were, pretty dull, it's like we still were kind of reacting to them live, which I thought was a pretty cool, like underlying thing that we got to do in person while sitting there that you don't get when watching online.
True.
True. It's a different thing. I think I was acting a fool. I think I jumped up a couple of times for some reason.
Oh, for that WinWing price when he cut it in that line and then just went straight down to like what, $5.99?
Well, yeah. Well, he said
That was awesome.
he said $7.99. Everybody was like, "Yeah!" And then he slashed it to
Yeah,
like
and then he
$5.99.
dropped it and then
Yeah!
everybody just went crazy.
I was like standing in the back. I was like, they're gonna regret dropping that price.
Yeah, they should have left
Yeah.
it.
Oh, they'll pay
As soon as
$7.99?
everybody
Okay.
cheered, I'm like, "Hey,
everybody
don't
was
slash
like,
it."
"Oh,
Next slide.
that's
Okay,
like-
good.
Back on the whole announcement kind of stuff, I thought there were a few announcements on the FS Elite stage, like on Saturday and Sunday, that should have been on the big stage on Friday.
Yeah, like the Tollis.
Yeah,
they
the
told us.
340.
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's a big one.
That would have been good on the main stage. All the other
Yeah.
extra little toy
Yeah.
things should have been on the side stage. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Aerosoft,
Might
where
need
you at,
like
man?
a better standard moderation. I don't know.
Or like
I mean,
maybe
I
like
get
a
it. It's
voting
like,
system. Like what if they put out
Yeah.
all the vendors and like you vote and figure out which ones are the most popular and you put those on the big stage. That'd be
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
because
we vote for
like
everything
because like what Blue explained before, it's not about what we like. It's about how much money are those vendors paying to be on that stage.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Which is not always what sells.
Exactly.
to us.
But it's
but-
it's what keeps the event going. To be quite honest,
Exactly.
right?
So I don't want to, stop the event from making money because we want the
Exactly.
prices for us to be down. We want to keep having the expo, but at the same time, we want to keep attracting more people to come. And if it's not a good product at the end of the day, people are going to stop coming. Like CST's already considering not coming Friday. Like that's just you saying that, but I'm sure there's hundreds of people who feel the same way that you do.
I'll
Anyway,
tell
let's
you-
move on to. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, one thing I was gonna say is the Friday at Vegas Expo, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. This expo, for some reason, maybe because there was less things happening on that stage that I was very interested into. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why I'm considering this. But like I said, it's a long time between now and Minneapolis, so I might definitely change my mind for sure.
I think you will. So let's move on to. Should we talk about Friday night or should we move on to like Saturday and hardware? What do you guys think?
It's up to you,
Well,
man.
Friday night was pretty early for me, so
The only
remember that
person
it's
that's not
Friday.
allowed to talk about Friday night is Leo. That's it.
Yeah, you see my
for
lips
sure.
is like
Yeah.
I ain't
Last
said nothing.
Friday night.
I ain't saying
Okay,
nothing.
we got to do it. This is an expo recap. What happened? Like, not what happened. I was gonna say that. Don't tell me what happened.
Yeah.
What for somebody who's in the chat on any of our chats who's never been to an expo, like what happens after the show? Like, it's like okay, it ends at like 5, but then what happens after that?
I mean, a bunch of people start grouping up and getting together and hitting the bars and hitting the club. Well, not the clubs, the dinners. Things like I'm
Some hit
trying. You know
clubs.
what? I don't remember what I did Friday night.
I don't
And
mean
I
it's
feel
the
bad.
rave.
Well, it was the
racing,
X-Wing
that's what
No,
we
that was
did.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
do you
Saturday
not
Saturday
Saturday
night?
night.
do you not remember
Yeah.
because you drank too much, or you just don't remember because?
Truth be told, I did
No,
have
Saturday night we were in the downtown area.
No,
Right.
Friday. We talking about Friday.
Yeah, see, lost of memory. I did have
Friday was
5.
the X-ray,
I had
right?
Yeah, it
5
was
gin
the
and
X-ray, yeah.
tonics. I had 5 gin and tonics Friday night at the social. Because
Damn.
yeah,
That's why I forgot.
He said,
it's true.
"Damn."
I know. Yep.
I was
and
just
so-
like, "What's a gin and tonic?"
I know, man.
I know Jeb Brooks drinks, so that's all I know.
Yo, I was about to say, Jeb.
that's
Oh,
all I know.
man. So no, but Friday night was it? That wasn't the rave night, was it? No.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
we went
was.
to dinner.
was.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then-
we did do dinner.
Friday
They
night
had
was
the
the
thing at
X-ray,
event
right?
First, They had like a social right in the expo first, and
Right.
then people were like kind of spreading out, going to different restaurants and pubs and whatever they wanted to do. I know, like we went to dinner and then we went to the X rave
Mhm.
after
Ah.
much discussion and debate. Right,
all-
CST?
It's all a blur.
So
It
I'm gonna
was
put it this
Blue's
way.
idea.
I'll put it this way.
My idea.
I was let's just say that I ended up somebody twisted my arm and I had to go to the X-ray. So I did. And yes.
the X-ray.
Plain and rave.
We
That's
had
all
a
you
we
need to
had
know.
one of you guys' favorite content creators spinning as the DJ. Put it that way. You know, you might see it on video, you might not see.
There's a little section of the rave on one of my videos that I posted today.
Yep,
Just
I
saying.
saw that. So, but and
Good times.
and there's the thing, right? Now, here's the thing: for you guys are going to go to next Expo. Enjoy yourselves with people and friends and family on Friday night. Don't forget, Saturday morning, you're waking up way early
Yeah.
to bum rush the door to get in at 8 o'clock.
Who needs sleep?
Oh, there you go. See? Just saying,
Leo.
for those of us who can't handle it, you know what I'm saying? I was like an old guy. I went to bed sort of early, maybe
I went to bed
midnight.
at like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. every night. I'm
Jeez.
regretting it right now if you can't tell, but
Right,
it
right.
was.
So
I was forced to bed. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Bro, Leo did not want to go to
You
bed.
party
I did
animal,
Friday
Leo.
night After,
I didn't, bro.
after we
Let me-
all
hey,
he was like, so let's
Chat,
go.
listen up. Leo is a party animal, dude. That's all I gotta say about that.
oh,
Listen,
man.
I'm stuck home with kids and work. all
Exactly.
week, so,
Exactly.
Yep.
As soon as that ball
Leo
and
was
chain came
free.
off his ankle, he's all like,
Let's
"Yeah."
Let's just say
Set free.
Leo and one big Ralph did not. They like Vegas ended, and they picked up exactly where they left off in Providence. It's like it
Absolutely.
never stopped. It's like wow, and that was just Friday. We haven't even got to the show yet. You know what I'm saying? We haven't got to the main event yet. This is Friday, but now. But then, yeah, I was happy to see you guys show up Saturday morning show. If you guys don't know, at Expo, before they open up the event floor, because you can't see the event floor when you get there on Thursday or Wednesday or Friday. You only get to see it on. Only vendors are allowed to in the event floor. So the vendors show up 2-3 days ahead of time, set up all their booths and all that stuff. And if you don't have a vendor badge, you can't go back there. There's literal security. Like Vegas had security that checked you, and you can't go in that doors. But Saturday morning now is when they open up, and I like CST's shot off inside when everybody's coming through the door to go bum rush like all the different things that they want to see first, and that's when the main event starts. Saturday, we spend 45 minutes talking about Friday. Saturday is the bigger day. That's the day.
That's the
That's
exciting.
the main day. Yeah.
And I'll give one other little tip here. If you haven't been to an expo and you're considering coming to an expo, you don't have to be so quick to get to the vendors that you want to see, because remember, there's a point in time where people start teetering out to go to lunch and things like that. That's the time that I use to sit down and touch the controls and talk to the developers and things like that, where I'm not having to stand in a 40-minute line and things like that. So just a little tidbit.
That's and since he said that, if I can, that's another little thing that I kind of don't like the way they're doing, right? So they have all the they have all of us for the most part. I think all of us here are media partners with FSExpo, right? However,
Yep.
we're not allowed any type of time to go in there and actually put our hands on stuff and do legitimate good videos on stuff to showcase for the community. And that was one thing I was going to mention for Friday. why not do the presentation and then have a block of a few hours for the media partners to actually have access to the whole when they're done setting up 2-3 hours, whatever. That way we can go in there, kind of do our thing. Nobody's bump rushing anything. You know what I'm saying? If we're media partners, why not utilize us as media partners and have us do media? You know what I'm saying? Because Saturday, I can't do any of this stuff, right? You can't kick, the little kid that's trying to, fly on his simulator. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, hey, get him off, so I can do my video. That's not
My camera in the way,
I
get out of the way.
yeah, I don't find that. So all I'm saying is, I'm not trying to be like, hey, I'm better than anybody else or whatever. But if you're giving me media partner and you consider me a media partner, then why not allow us to do that type of stuff, right? Aside from promoting the expo before, and now promoting it, up until we get to Minneapolis, we really don't get much at the expo as far as being a media partner. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah,
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm just thinking about the. I think I agree with you, and I think one year, me and Blue were able to go in because we did a booth. We were part of the booth that QET Pilot created for content creator booth.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did get access behind the scenes before, even though a lot of the developers had black cloth over their stuff. They didn't want
Oh,
anybody
really?
to see it. Oh yeah,
Right.
they wanted
Well,
like the day
well,
to
I'm
no, but but no, you're correct. But I could hear it now because we already got that video saying that us content creators, why do we get stuff? So imagine now going to
Oh my
Expo
God.
and getting the first look before anybody else. It's gonna be like
no,
double.
but that's the whole
going
point,
on?
right? Because
I
you
know,
you
I
have
know.
a following, Blue has a following, Al's has a following, I have a following, and all these people are actually, waiting for us to put out stuff, right? And we can't do that, right?
mean,
At
look.
least I found that, I still did it, but I found that kind of complicated to like having to navigate around people and getting shots and trying to showcase stuff for the people that are in the
Could just be
community.
your height,
So,
though. I mean,
but
you're a little bit of.
Oh boy, fight.
Dang.
Sorry, I
I
think my
mean, right
mic's
now
cutting
your
out.
camera
can you
Fight
is very
with
short,
can,
though.
can you finish a sentence there, little buddy?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's what I thought.
Nothing.
That's what I
Nah,
thought. Yep.
man.
Well,
CST,
Swiss
I-
001 was getting around perfectly fine.
Well, okay, and this is the thing.
Oh.
There's a caveat to it. No,
Well,
the caveat is
yeah.
that there are some devs who will bring in a partner ahead of time because the devs sponsor them to come, and so that
Yeah.
dev gives them behind the scene access from Thursday, from setup time. You know what I mean? And so they get that sponsorship. So, but
I love the idea, honestly. CST.
My only
'cause
preach is if
last
you have us,
year-
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So last year in Vegas, when we were part of the streamer booth, so we were sort of exhibitors. Like that was the most valuable time I'd ever gotten with the equipment at Expo because nobody was in there except for the developers and their equipment. Most of them were done by the time I got in there. There were a few, that were not finished yet because a lot of them are, they're setting up to Saturday morning. So I get that. But for those who are ready, I think having a block of time, maybe an hour, 2 hours, maybe on that Friday night after the announcement, because they're already in there, right? They're already setting up,
Yep.
they're already preparing. So if they're ready, do it then, or it can be early Saturday morning. Like I think you kind of showed up early, like maybe an hour before the doors open. Like, all right, this is the media partner time. So let the exhibitors know, hey, there's a media time. So at this time, all the media's gonna come in, they're gonna look at stuff. And if they don't want us showcasing things early, then give us an embargo. Like, hey, you can come in here, you can record, you can record on your phone, but we don't want anybody posting anything until doors open. Like if they want to, if there's a time limit, that's fine. But I do agree.
Well, for
and
the
that's-
vendors who want to allow it, let us come in. And if people say no, we don't want anybody, then
And that's
I like
why I was actually saying after the Friday presentation, because after the Friday presentation, whatever was never heard of is already being showcased and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. So everybody,
Right.
we're not doing it. We're not breaking an NDA. We're not coming out with, something nobody's ever heard. Like we already knew what WinWing is doing by that time. We already knew what Moza has brought to the table, right? So we wouldn't be showcasing anything we're not allowed to showcase, if you know what I mean. But like I said, it's like, that's my only preach. Is like, if you make me a media partner, but then you don't use me
something we can
as
bring up.
media,
We could
then
definitely bring it up to them and
That-
say, hey, how
yeah.
about this idea?
then
And that's
why
something that
am I a
happens
media
in a lot of
partner? You know what I'm
other-
saying? What am I doing here? You know?
Other, big gaming events, that's what they do. They have a segregated time when they bring in media specifically to look at their products before the public goes in, so they can focus on just having that without having somebody's hand in the way or trying to look behind somebody, things like that. You have like the best because they want to show their product off the best way possible, right?
True.
So why not give us time?
If that
Agree.
comes to pass, I'm gonna give CST credit for
Me too.
voicing it
I'm
up.
giving
I'm
CST.
Well,
gonna give you
maybe
credit.
we
Like,
can
yeah,
maybe we can bring it up collectively to Heaven and see what he thinks about
yep,
it.
absolutely. That's an idea. Before we get into hardware, I want to talk about one of the hottest topics that
Uh-oh.
got announced that Blue mentioned earlier that should have been on the main stage. The crossover between Aerosoft and Tollis. What are you guys' opinion?
Uh,
Leo,
well, no, Leo, go
in
ahead.
here. Yeah, Leo, what's your opinion on that?
Leo.
That crossover.
You said Leo?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I didn't initially hear that. It wasn't until I was out with the guys and Tollis was actually across the street. Everybody was waving to him. I think after hearing it initially, I thought, well, dang, is that the end of Tollis in X-Plane? Like, is this going to be another developer that jumps ship? And when you really sit down and think about it, I don't think so. I think it's a great opportunity for a developer to come over and give a hand at a product in Microsoft. Shows that he's willing to put our gameplay, our mindsets first over I would say party lines, if you will, whether you're Microsoft or X-Plane. And I think it's just at the end of the day, it's just an awesome opportunity for us all. We're the consumer, right? So that's what I think about it.
Flat Pilot Dep, what do you think about it?
Well, past few weeks I started dialing into X-Plane a lot, and I love how the Tolus has like everything built in with like the taxi cam and stuff like that. So I kind of got thinking like Aerosoft, their A330 wasn't what we expected. It was straight into the trash bin pretty much. But I feel like Tolus picking it up. I'm gonna expect what Tolus made for X-Plane is that's what I
Guys,
want
thank
to
you so
expect
much for joining us
what would
today,
it be
man.
like
I
on
appreciate you
Microsoft.
guys being here with us.
So
I
maybe
hope
there
you
was
guys
some
are
things
enjoying the
that they
show.
can't add in,
If
like
you
for the
are
taxi
enjoying
cam
the
and
show,
stuff, because
please
even
do me a
NIBuild
huge
tried
favor
that
and
with
smash that
A350.
like button for me, guys.
It's pretty much
If
just
you have
like
any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat as well, man.
what
I'll try to get to
Asobo
them.
allows in and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to say compare, but I don't want to be like don't do so well on Microsoft, but like go all out for X-Plane.
I'll just clarify, and it was what's her name again? XP told us
Juliana.
Juliana. She was on like cleanup duty all weekend, like telling all of us, Tolus is not moving to Microsoft Flight Sim. This is not a Tolus product. This is an Aerosoft product. And the best way that was explained to me is think about how Phoenix uses ProSim, right, to kind of power their systems. That's what's happening with Aerosoft and the Tolus partnership. Tolus is the ProSim in this case, where Tolus is powering all the systems underneath, and Aerosoft is handling everything else. And so it's obviously associated with Tolus, but it's not a Tolus thing. But Tolus obviously has to develop within the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So it is them getting their feet wet. And should they want to release their own product in the future, they'll know how to after doing this collab with Aerosoft. But they said they have no intention of fully leaving X-Plane ever. From what they're telling me, they're gonna be sticking to X-Plane, and they told me they have more things coming for X-Plane that they already know are lined up for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Owls.
I would say I'm not really the hugest X-Plane guy. I've just got back into it recently with the Challenger. That was really fun. So I haven't really actually flown a Tullus plane in a while, but I do remember when I did, they were really, really nice. I like the way they flew. I like the way the modeling. I mean, at the time, I like the modeling and all that. So I feel like it'd be cool. I do agree with what Cam said in your chat. He said they should have collabed on the 330, not the 340. Me personally, I'm not the biggest 340 fan. I would much rather have a proper A330 in the sim. I think that's something we desperately need. but it should be good. I mean, I don't hear anything bad about Tollis, so I'm expecting it to be pretty nice.
Yeah, I
For
agree with that.
me, it's bittersweet. Like, how dare my beloved Tollis even work with Microsoft? They got like 80 Airbuses over there already. They don't need another one. You know, because Tollis is like, for me, Tollis is like big in X-Plane. Like they're part of the pillar of X-Plane. Honestly, if you think about it, they're one of the people who are keeping X-Plane afloat. Let me just put it out there. I'm
Yeah.
under no illusion, right? Flight Factor, Tollis, and Xcraft. It's funny because if you guys don't know, I follow what's his name, Ramses from Flight Factor, and he's flown his personal airplane to every expo, right?
Really?
So this one,
Yep.
he took up himself, Tollis, and Marco from Xcraft, who made a great airplane. They all went flying together in his GA plane.
That's
And someone
actually
made the
awesome.
comment like, please don't crash and kill off X-Plane because
Oh
those are the
my
only
God.
developers that X-Plane have. Like,
Oh
Oh
god.
my god.
one accident
Wow.
takes out the entire X-Plane community. That's it. No devs for X-Plane. You know,
That's
I was like,
crazy.
man, they're gonna go do. But you know what? No, I'm two-part. I'm happy. Airsoft get to redeem themselves. The disaster that the 330 was that they released, which is crazy, right?
That's something we gotta talk about too, because they
Oh, yeah.
said
Let's
like
talk about that.
they
Yeah.
said during the announcement that the government didn't allow them to use the systems in the release they had, which is why they're putting it on the 330 Neo. But in
Yes.
my opinion, why release it if you can't?
Exactly.
I didn't understand that part.
Yeah.
I was like, why did you release the 330 at all?
Yeah.
If you like, they literally just like pooped out the 330. Like, all right, let's get this out of the way so we can work on what we can actually work on because the government.
Yeah,
Like,
that didn't make any sense to me.
it was really weird.
They
And
funded.
then they
They
said they're
funded
gonna,
them the project. Yeah. Go ahead.
and then they said that after the 330 Neo, they're gonna
Then
then
they can-
backport all the code to 330. Or I'm like, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something weird with the finances that the government provide and the stipulations of said finances that make no sense.
I mean, I'm with Fred in the chat over here. He says all that government talk, it's just scapegoat. I think it's just they pointing the finger at somebody at this point. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what it is. One thing I say is I'm glad that Tollis is finally deciding to work with both platforms. And yeah, I've been saying it for years, man. Tollis,
Quick lift $50.
Fly Factor.
Aerosoft,
Why,
Phoenix
you know,
open
it
mouth
would be
smile,
it would be
LMAO.
awesome for them to work with both platforms, and it would bring more competition and to the flight sim community as a whole, both Microsoft and X-Plane. I think so. I'm all for it. Dude.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
thoughts is like, why are we recreating a wheel all the time with Microsoft, right? If we already have a plane in X-Plane or Microsoft, why can't we like, you know what I mean? Like for example, with the E-Jets by Marco or by X-Crafts, from what I understand, the FSS Studios ERJ is using their 3D model from X-Plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yep.
the exact same 3D. Like they literally bought the 3D model from X-Plane, and now they're doing their own systems, which obviously have its own problems. But my point is like, why is that not happening more often between other aircraft and scenery and things like that? It's like, I mean, if X-Plane already has the product, why should you start from zero?
Yeah, I'm thinking about a situation. Imagine having all these airplanes can work in both sims, and you can decide what sim you want to fly. That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
that's never gonna happen.
I know. Pipe
Yeah,
dream. It's like,
I agree with
okay,
Blue.
dream's over.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
happening. I agree with Blue on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
But we could dream.
yeah, we could definitely dream. Yeah.
Any other? I mean,
100%.
since we're talking about software, I mean, any other? I mean, aircraft. You know, I know the A220 is a big topic. The
That
Bluebird. What do you guys
A220.
think of those?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the A220. So I was one of the
Mr.
people.
Brand new INI Bills ambassador.
So I was one of the people that you were talking about. Or I think it was XP that bum rushed into the venue. I bum rushed myself straight to the Synaptic booth, and I sat down, and I really got like a full overview of it. So I'm the nerdier kind of guy in flights, and you could ask Mello. I like, running the flows, the checklist, sitting on the ground for 20 hours, doing nothing but staring at the airplane. That's just me.
I know nothing about it.
He actually. so he showed me like how the air conditioning system works, the little taxi cams they have, how they have the flight planning working. He even gave me some access to the sounds as well, which he also said won't be won't be heard again until they actually release the airplane. So that 220, man, that's gonna be a really, really nice airplane. It's even got the whale sounds. I could keep going. Flushable toilet. It has a flushable toilet.
Oh yeah,
Let's go.
Okay, okay.
I'm sold.
Now that you said that, yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. So it's definitely stylish.
Yeah.
There you go.
I will go. I will venture. Everybody knows, myself included. Everybody's excited about the 220. Everybody's excited about the 7.5, right? So, but some new things that we got to see that we haven't heard before until we got to the expo. Just like some people in my chat are saying, is the Falcon 50. I think that's going to be an amazing aircraft.
Mhm.
Dude, it looks so good.
Yeah, I actually got to sit down and talk to Lars about that one. And they're putting a lot of time and effort into the aircraft being high fidelity. So that's awesome. And knowing that they're working with Flight Sim Studio, because the Falcon 50 actually shares some instruments from the 727, and me firsthand knowing that the 727 is actually a very good aircraft. So that excites me even more, because I know that plane is probably going to be really, really good. So I'm excited about that. To not mention the 727 Super, which again, the 727 is a plane that I like, but I enjoy flying that aircraft when I'm not streaming, if you know what I mean, because it's too intensive. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be ignoring everybody in my chat or whatever. That's kind of like why I don't fly it as much with the INS system and the FE panel and everything else that you got to concentrate on. It's such an intensive aircraft to fly. And yes, even though a lot of people might not agree with me or like it, I'm actually looking forward between now Ini Builds and Tollis for a good 340. Even though it's not a very popular aircraft, I get it, I understand it, but it's one of the aircraft that I think we don't have and we need, just like the 330, right?
Let's talk about that real quick. I mean to cut you, but by the way, yes, the presentation, that's how presentation should be done with the Fokker and the 7.2. The presentation they did on Friday, that blew me away. Like, whoa, made me want to fly the plane. Even if might not get it, it's like, I looked at it and goes, damn, it's like you could fly 10,000 miles and 46,000. What? That was good.
Yeah.
But
It was cool how they like related it to that one government plane in Madeira, how
Hey
they did the
guys,
flyby and
I'm
everything.
sorry, I'm talking over the other guys here real quick. I just
But
want to say welcome to everybody that's just now got to the stream. Appreciate you stopping in. JJ,
That
welcome.
right
Zach,
there
welcome.
is
Fred,
the first
Nalzi
head-to-head
X,
competition we're gonna
Ken.
get.
I'm sorry, I'm not
between
usually
two good
doing the usual
developers.
thing by welcoming everybody
I'm
aboard,
here
but
for it.
there's
What do
other
you guys
people
think about
talking. I
that?
really don't want to do it as much as I'm doing it right now. So
I have mixed
I
feelings.
appreciate you guys
Uh-oh.
being here at the show. If you
For
guys
one,
do
I do
like it,
I think it's
please
interesting. We're gonna have a
smash that
head-to-head
like,
between
because it's
two, like,
something that
what
we are
consider
thinking
some
of
the
doing
top
more often. So
developers in Flight Sim for both
I appreciate
Microsoft
you
and
guys. Thank you
X-Plane
so much. Hit
on the
that
same
like.
platform for the first time. I Builds versus Tollis, basically. But at the same time, like, dang, man, both y'all doing the A340. Like, I'm only, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I'm probably only gonna buy one of them. Like, whatever one pops up first.
Well-
Like, there's no need for me to have two different A340s.
You know, Blue,
it-
I say that now, but I'm probably gonna buy both.
That's why I said don't quote me.
Right.
Because-
Isn't one doing one variant and the other one doing the other variant?
Well,
Yes.
both of them teased by saying, well, I know we talked to INI Builds and they were like, so you're only doing the 6, and I forgot if we said which one, but he was like, that's that. Did we ever say that's the only one we're making? So I'd assume they're making both. It's just, it's an
Yeah.
A340, man. I've never been like, I just want to fly a 340. That's the only issue.
Yeah,
Me
I don't like the
Yeah.
600. I'm more of a 300 guy.
Yeah, the little
myself.
hair dryers, the little hair dryers.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I have the Tollis A340 in X-plane, and I may have flown it maybe 2 times. It's just too long. It's like the
That's my point.
753.
Right
It's
freaking there. We keep buying planes
it's
and we
like
fly 2 times and they sit in the
Right.
hangar for like
Done.
2-3
Yeah.
years.
yeah.
I
so-
probably flew the A340 twice, but it was 2 long hauls, and I felt like it was worth it. Like, there's certain planes that are good, but it's only taken out in special occasions, right? So
you
you're not
think
gonna
that
do you're not gonna
paying
do like
$80
DC
for a
to
plane and
Baltimore
flying
in a
twice is worth
340,
it?
right? Yeah. No, okay.
$40 legs.
A 340.
$40 legs.
A
Bro,
340.
that's
You're
Uber.
not.
That's like 2 Ubers.
You're not gonna fly that to like Miami, Atlanta. you're gonna put it on a 5, 6, 8 hour flight because that's what it's made for. Because it slowly climbs off the ground, like barely when it gets up. It's a different plane. It's like so sluggish and climbs so stupidly. But on a long haul, when you see those 4 contrails behind the airplane,
Oh,
you
it
do
looks
that
good.
outside
Yeah.
shot, you're like, yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
really
It's
I
just something.
agree. I
I
think
think
Well, I
it's,
mean-
something.
it is a special.
Yeah, it's
special
just
jet
something
plane. It's
about a
like-
4-engine jet, man.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I think
And-
the Aerosoft hold on. I think the Aerosoft Tollis combo is going to beat the i9 builds combo. I'm saying it right now. I'm
Actually,
like,
let's
my
go around the
words.
table. What do you guys think would be better? Iron builds or Tollis on the A340?
Oh,
I agree with what Sherwin said in your chat. I think honestly, the Ionite builds one probably will be the better looking one, just because I mean their modeling. You could agree. I think their modeling team is really really good, but I think the Aerosoft one might have a little bit more system depth. We'll see though. Don't quote me again on that, but I think I agree with him. I think that one might look a little bit better.
Leo?
In all honesty, I'm gonna have to go with my OG Tollis.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to go with my OG Tollis. It's been around for a long time now. Yes, you have to worry about the learning curve of him coding and everything in Microsoft. However, pretty sure he can pick it up. I just think that system wise, the Tollis is gonna win out. Any builds may look better, but system wise, I got it hands down. I got to give it to my man Tollis.
Yeah.
Depth?
Well, I mean, I don't like. I want to say NI builds because I really like how the A350 looks and flies, but I mean, it's a new ball game for Tollis, so I don't know how it's gonna be over at Microsoft, but I would probably have to say wait till more stuff comes out, more teasers, and then see which one I'm leaning towards. I mean, I already know either way I'm gonna be buying both most likely. But probably NI builds, maybe.
Okay.
CST?
All right, so I'm gonna be a little controversial here. I'll put it to you this way.
No.
All right, I'm gonna say the same thing that I would say for the tallest between the Phoenix. That I'm gonna say between FS Lab and the Phoenix, right? FS Lab 321 Neo that I recently tried and loving it is not visually speaking as pleasant as the Phoenix. However, I prefer flying the 321 Neo FS Lab over the 321 Phoenix. I don't know. It's something about that FS Lab Neo that's giving me that. It just captured me. You know, the way it flies, the way everything is between the MIGDU and the tablet, the seamless incorporation of GSX, and a lot of those things are in the Phoenix as well. However, something is just drawing me towards that plane ever since the first time I put my hands on it. So, having said that, on the tallest side of the house, I'm gonna go with the OGs on these because Tollis has been around for a long time. Okay, Phoenix is much younger team. Now, I'm not saying that Phoenix doesn't have the experience. I'm just saying if there's one person that's gonna figure that thing out, it's gonna be Tollis. And I think visually speaking, the reason why a lot of people are seeing, oh, well, the textures or the plane is not as good as the Phoenix is because they're working on a different platform. That's what I think. And even on that different platform, you'll see the difference of textures and texture quality. You can see it between a plane that's been around for a while, like a Fly Factor 7.5, versus a Fly Factor 777. Fly Factor 777 looks miles better than a Fly Factor that was developed, years ago. But if you develop the same aircraft, I think, what I'm trying to say, I don't think it's a texture defect. I think it's the sim that's making it look a certain way, right? I think when they apply the same skills and everything they have to develop a plane for Microsoft is going to do its part to make that plane look that much better as well. I think.
Yeah, all
That's just
about
my
the eye
opinion.
candy. Yeah.
And one more thing I'll add really quickly that chat is reinforcing. Don't forget that Tollis over in X-Plane is an officially licensed Xbox. Oh, not Xbox. Airbus product. So
100%.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
100%.
you just
partner with
I just
Airbus.
don't think you can go wrong there.
I mean, it doesn't get no more study level than there, right? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
be honest.
So
And then one more person says, don't forget performance is going to be a huge thing. Which one is going to
Oh,
have the
frames. Okay.
Agreed.
frames?
Oh,
There
yeah,
you
I got
go.
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, hey, that might change the equation.
And
but yeah.
I builds is frame heavy. Oh,
It is.
Wait.
But that goes
Yeah,
that
I
goes
was-
I'm
that goes
changing
with
my answer,
everything, right?
Tollis.
No, it goes with everything though. We say performance, but we got planes that are heavy in performance right now that we love to fly every day, right? But but they keep getting better in that. I think any builds is doing better at optimizing the aircraft and stuff like that with performance as well. Because when the 350 first came out, let's face it, it was not that great. I mean, there was a lot of issues with the plane. But I mean, they've done what in a span of like 2 or 3 months or something? 15 updates. How many updates are we in now?
A lot,
So
a
it's
lot.
not like they dropped the product like some other developers and just left it and we're done, right? That's not going to happen with certain developers. And I think Tollis is in that same realm. So
All right.
Yeah.
Hardware from the floor. Let's switch to hardware.
Okay.
What do you guys think about Moza's entry into the flight sim space? They're a racing company. What do you guys think about Moza's entry into flight sim? What are your thoughts on that? Leo, did you go over to both check it out?
I did.
All right.
It's no surprise to me. Moza, I've been on Moza now for a while, be it the racing side of the market. I always said that if they ever jump over into the flight simulation side of the market, they're going to absolutely kill it. I don't think anything's changed with that. I think that they are innovating and they're coming out with some nice products. They feel good to me. But I guess it'll time will tell how the products stand up and if they're durable enough, other than a piece of plastic or something like that. But I think they got something going, and I think that they're going to be around in the flight simulation market for years to come.
Because I've
What about you,
never,
Alex?
I've heard of Moza before, but them more so being just the steering wheel company or pedal company. I didn't really look into them that much. So actually getting my hands on it at Expo, they're pretty nice. I like the what's it called, the AB9 force feedback base. I think that's what it's called, with that, I guess, airliner style joystick. I loved how that felt. It felt really, really nice. I just think the one thing with that is because I looked it up on their website just after using it, because I was just curious on what people were saying about it, and it's only a like a right-handed style. There's no like left seat version of it. I think if they made a left seat version, they would be good. That's all they need.
Let's just say that I give them a stern warning. I'm like, yo, everybody in the flight sim community flies with their left hand. That's the captain. And the guy looked at me. He looked at me like, like, yeah. Oh, we don't fly right seat. But anyway, except for wrong side.
Unless you're wrong
Except for
side,
wrong
right?
side,
Except wrong side.
And even their display was like that too. They had it on the right side as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything.
I mean, yes, I did. I did mention that to Moza as well, left end. But if you guys were like me, you just make your own. Just saying.
I thought about you, bro. I'm like, maybe I'll hit up CST. He can clone this and just swap it. You know what I'm saying?
Time out. Let me show you what I did. You guys continue
Let's see.
talking. I'm gonna go get something
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
What about you, Pilot Deb?
Yeah, I checked it out. I didn't really spend too much time over there, but they look really good. But as someone who, doesn't have that much space to put everything, I don't know what I would do if I'd have, multiple side sticks. Like I already have 2 side sticks. I have the WinWing and I have the Thrustmaster. And another yoke, I mean, that's gonna be a lot. Obviously the WinWing yoke is on my mind right now. Definitely. But I feel like Moza, they look really good. Felt good as well. But I don't know. They did pretty good with their wheels. I mean, I don't have their racing wheel, but they're mostly known for their racing and stuff. But I don't know. We'll have to see what other people think.
I have
like
to say, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I have to say that expectation bias is a hell of a thing, because what I didn't like that they did, and me and Blue talk about sometime, they released the images of these things before the show. You have a big show coming up. Tease it. Don't show it a day before. Tease it give it like a silhouette or whatever, and leave it alone. Don't show the specific hardware. And then at the show, drop it. You know what I'm saying? For maximum effect. That's one thing. I
Right.
think that kind of influenced what I thought when I finally saw I was excited for the Boeing quadrant. Like, the best one out there is the Bravo, right? But I don't have the Bravo, and I don't want the Bravo. Base is too big, in my opinion, for my setup on my rig. But it's the best, right? And I saw finally competition for the Bravo. Here we go. But it didn't hit that way when I saw it in person. And
Mhm.
the reason I think is because they did what Thrustmaster did by giving you the miniature flap handle,
Mm-hmm.
throttle, miniature stuff. And you can pull it off at the top. Be a third-party market that would make full-size ones for it. But that kind of let down for me. But was it bad? No. Had a lot of buttons on it, had a lot of switches on it. You could do, so it can be upgraded, but I wish it was a little bigger per se. But as Pilot Deb says, I guess for people who don't have the desk space maybe and don't have a rig,
Yeah.
that's probably what they're going for, the home thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
that's
more
what I was-
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead. Now.
you-
No, the last thing about Moza, they're the only ones out of the big boys that are providing. It's going to be a popular force feedback yoke and force feedback joystick, and that's going to be big with the
Yeah.
AB6, not the 9. I didn't realize how big the AB9 was. It's like this
Yeah.
chunky.
Yeah,
Like,
it's huge.
whoa,
It's
holy
huge.
moly. When I saw the 6 and how compact and small, like, yeah, I don't need an extra 80 Newton meters of force. It's a side
Mhm.
stick. It's going to give you some resistance, but, it's going to be good. But that's my thought on the Moza stuff. We're going to say.
I have some
Yeah, I was-
thoughts on this, but Owls, you go first.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing about the throttles because I was like, we were basically just focusing on like the yokes and the side sticks. I tried the throttles, and I thought they were really, really nice. Only thing is, when it comes to them being so small, that's the issue I have with my Thrustmaster throttles. It's like they're not small, but compared to like other throttles I've tried, even like in the sim with the most minute movements, it's like you're going from 0% in one to 25 in like a centimeter. I feel like with those throttles, it's going to be a real big issue because you're going to just inch it and there's no travel. That's the only thing I have an issue with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're not designed for us, right? I think
Yeah,
those throttles are designed for the average fly simmer that's looking to put that thing on the desk next to him, and maybe buy the Airbus levers and the Boeing levers and have that comfort, kind of like what we do with the Bravo and what XP and Blue do with their Thrustmaster Boeing setup, where they put different levers on it and make it look more realistic and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like what they're going for. The AB9, I've reviewed it. They sent me one. It's awesome. But Flesh and News, I'm not using it anymore as a side stick for my Airbus, because when I use it as an Airbus side stick, I find myself that you turn everything that has to do with force feedback down and or off, because the Airbus, it's a fly-by-wire.
Doesn't have it.
You know, it doesn't have
Yeah.
force feedback. So what's the point on spending $600-700 for a side stick that has force feedback if you're only going to use it for an Airbus, civil aviation, which is what I do, right? Now, if you do DCS, if you do other type of flying, then it's going to be amazing. I did try it with, an F-18 and an F-18 kind of setup or, profile, and it feels freaking awesome, And I also tried it as a manual shifter for ATS and ETS, and it's simply amazing, right? As those things. But yeah, I do love. I like the Moza stuff, and I like in particular the yoke, and I do like the AB9 and the soon to be AB6 as well. I think it's going to be great. And speaking to that, do you guys recognize this? What is this?
wow.
Yeah.
There you go. It's
This is
right-handed
this
too.
is this is what, a WinWing side
Right.
stick, right? This is
Okay.
WinWing.
Okay. Oh my god.
How did
Bro.
you do that?
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's my
I'm
left.
hitting you up, man.
So
If
I
I ever
had
get the AB6, I'm hitting you up.
I had a second WinWing stick that I broke, so I recycled it. I took the stick out of it. I opened it up. I made the connection, and I just screwed it on top of my AB9, and everything works. The only thing I lost is the head switch, because I never used it, so I didn't bother reconnecting the head switch. So I have my autopilot disconnect and my trigger button, and that's it.
All roads lead to Mello's house to get the conversion.
Wow.
Yes, it
Right.
does.
Blue, jump up. What were you gonna say, Blue? Let me hear
Last
that.
thing on Moza, and I will do some videos more in detail and stuff. But yeah, when I went there, I did like the base for the joystick base and even the yoke base. I was surprised, but the thing about the Moza force feedback base is that it's really dependent on the settings. I agree with CST. If you're just gonna fly an Airbus with it, I don't think it's worth it. Because you're not really. Yes, the axis is nice, but it's not worth it for that. It's better if you're doing like DCS fighter jets, bush flying even maybe because that's used with a stick as well, but not for just airline or Airbus flying. And so on that note, yeah, I don't recommend it, but I love that they finally took our our feedback from last year, which was making that massive base smaller for the joystick. And here's my thing. I love Moza. Big fan on racing. I wish I knew who makes like the decisions at Moza because I feel like they're confused. I feel like they don't really know what their actual target market is, and they're just like shooting shots. They're just hip firing at all these different things. Like for example, the AB6 that XP was just talking about how he likes. I was told that they're going to be selling that as a bundle. You can't buy the base by itself, which makes zero sense to me because that's going to raise the price up and it's no longer entry level anymore because now it's expensive again. Right. And then the joystick that they're going to be putting on it, at least from as of right now, this could obviously change before release. So take this how you want, is a generic joystick that's not an F-18 grip. It's not an Airbus grip. It's nothing like specific. It's just something they made up with a bunch of buttons on it. That's going to be shipping out with it. And on top of that, and you guys can tell me what you think about this, on the AB6, the smaller force feedback joystick base, they have like buttons on it now. Like, why? The AB9 had no buttons on it. I mean, I didn't think, I don't know, maybe they're trying to like appeal to like a market where like all you have is a single joystick, you don't have rudder pedals or a throttle, anything like that. But I'm thinking like if this thing is $400, like you're not even like you probably already have a throttle pedal. Like you're not trying to have a throttle on your joystick at the same time because you got enough money to probably invest in a better setup. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyways, moving on to the throttles. I was interested when I saw the silhouette and the teaser about the throttles. Like, okay, that's cool. They're gonna be adding some throttles. That's definitely cool. I didn't like the Airbus one. Not a fan at all of the Airbus one. The base, I mean, it's okay. The fighter jet version of it, not a big fan of that one. I did like the Boeing one. I liked how the throttle felt on the Boeing handles for it. But that's really all I liked about the new throttles they had. But it's just I don't know. When I look at the button choices they put on these devices, it just feels kind of like they're scatterbrained on what exactly they're trying to create. I do see something unique. It is a different way to do it. I think it's definitely made for a certain type of person, but they had to hit the right price point. If they're trying to go for budget people, then go budget, right? Don't try to go for budget people, but then give them a premium product. They don't go together. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to like say, oh, okay, we're trying to appeal to like casual simmers, but then we're gonna charge you $700. I'm like, come on.
Well,
So,
mine is. I'm sorry if I interrupt, but my understanding is the base is one, and you can change the levers. You can go from fighter jet to Boeing to Airbus, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, I think by
Okay.
default you get. I think you get the fighter jet one in the base.
Okay, and then you can buy the
can
different
add
levers.
the-
Okay.
Yeah.
Either lever
Wait.
you want for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Micah in the chat says it's meant for entry level. So if they could knock that price down a little bit and just call it entry level,
For the throttle.
Yeah, the throttle quadrant.
Yeah,
Even-
yeah.
How
even
much
though
is
the
it?
button-
Definitely.
How much is it, guys? Do
Yeah.
you remember?
I don't know.
I want to say it's
if I got
3
a-
something. I remember some.
It was between
NVIDIA did
3
it.
and 400.
Between 3 and 400.
Area,
I
which is
think
a
what
lot
happened-
for an entry level
you know,
throttle.
But here's the deal: all of us sim, and at some point now, all of us either have the Thrustmaster or the modded Bravo. So we're like used to having only task specific buttons, and we don't want anything else because we're like in the the immersion. But I guess we got to think of youngsters that are coming in, and they're going to ask their parents for something as buttons as possible. Maybe By the way, love seeing all the families at Expo, bro. I love it.
Absolutely.
Love seeing the families walk on the floor, coming and flying this. But yeah, it might be an entry level thing. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out, and if we get a whole we'll do some reviews and maybe minds will be changed on it, because when you have bigger companies on the floor that drawing all the attention, you tend to look at everybody else with a side eye, like, yeah, that doesn't, you know, big boy over here in the middle of the floor talking about WinWing. You know, I try to avoid talking about the WinWing conversation because you know they're just dominant now, and like as Blue said, you want to find out like who's making decisions at Moza, but somebody's making decisions at WinWing, guys. Because they want this, we'll give it to them, and we're gonna give it to them exactly how it is. So, you know, I didn't spend a lot of time on the WinWing stuff, but what do you guys think, man? WinWing, like, could we ask for more?
Dude, I
Boeing.
let me see if I can go first here. I literally called that the WinWing Expo at the Expo. I was like, hey, this is the WinWing.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And it's and Max was like, oh no, don't say that. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, you guys are rocking it, dude.
Hey,
But,
you don't have to say it. We'll say it. It was
We'll
the
say
WinWing
it.
Expo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, let's face it, man. Any time of the day, both on Saturday and Sunday, that you went up to the WinWing booth,
Packed.
you packed.
Sardine
You
can.
couldn't see anything, right? So, yeah, I think WinWing is not doing. They're not doing the right thing because of what they're doing, right? With the Boeing and appealing to the average, the flight simmer, civil aviation, all the good stuff with even fighters, right? But they're doing it at the right price point to where the average flight simmer, right? The average small,
Affordable.
you don't have to be, you don't have to be like, a grown dude with a full-time job that makes $100,000 a year to be able to afford, a $2,000 throttle set or, a $600 McDo, right? That made it accessible to the average person, right? And I think that's what I appreciate the most about WinWing. Now, some people might say, well, that's at a loss of quality. But for all of us that have actually put hands on this type of on their products,
Feels amazing.
it's awesome, right? Is it as good as some of the
WingFlex.
$2,000 WingFlex or whatever, right? Maybe it's not as good, but it's as good as it is for the price, and it's gonna last you a lifetime if you take care of this stuff, right? A lot of people, I give you an example, right? A lot of people always had issues with their Honeycomb Bravos. Oh, this thing broke, the lever broke, the wheel broke. Look, I've had my thing for like 5 years now. If you take care of your stuff, it's gonna last you a lifetime, right? That's the way I look at it, right? It doesn't matter where it's made, who makes it, how it's made. It could be plastic, it could be metal. I could get my WingFlex, McDo and treat it like crap. It's gonna break. It's just like anything else. So it all depends on how you take care of your stuff, how much care you put into it, and I think it's gonna last you a lifetime. I've had no issues with any of the WinWing stuff, and I remember, speaking of that, at last year Expo, when WinWing kind of made a stand and introduced themselves to the flight sim community, there was a lot of people out, smoking and coking, taking my smoke breaks. And there was a lot of people literally talking nonsense. Oh, it's cheap stuff, Chinese made, blah blah. It's not gonna last.
Yeah.
Remember that? You were there too, Leo. I remember that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
it's
right
not
out
gonna.
there.
It's not gonna
Yep.
last. It's gonna break right away. The switches are not.
The buttons, the
And-
buttons.
And I'm telling those guys, I'm like, okay, smart butt. What do you think all the other stuff that's supposedly good made with? Chinese switches and parts, dude. It's all made in China. When you buy a Thrustmaster, you're thinking you're buying something that's not Chinese, but guess what? It's made in China, my dude. So
Yep,
I
it's
don't
made in
understand
China.
where the thought process from these people come from. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, I
Leo,
absolutely
did you-
love WinWing, man. I can't. I won't stop talking about it. If you just tell me to shut up right now.
Shut up.
Don't tell me that.
Shut up.
Leo, did you get in the seat? Did you get in the seat time at the WinWing cockpit setup at all? Did you get a chance with all the crowd and stuff?
Honestly, dude, I'm not a huge fan at flying these things at expos. Just because it's not my setup. Those that come to my house last Wednesday, they would understand. So I really don't put hands on. Like, I just want to see the products and touch the products. But as far as the sim rigs, I've flown every sim that's out there, man. I don't like the idea of sitting down, with 100,000 people behind me and watching me try to figure out, well, how do I recenter my view, or where's the toggle button? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We all have our sim set up where I know where everything is on my rig, and so I tend not to fly the rigs that they have there at the expo. It's just me though.
Got you. I got you. Who else had hands-on time with the? You had it pilot that. What do you think?
Yeah. Me and Skyfall, we hopped into the dual cockpit that WinWing had, and honestly, it pretty much felt like we were there in the Airbus itself, ready to go. And like we were doing like, captain, I was in the captain seat, he was in the FO seat, and we were doing our roles, He set the thrust, he did the takeoff, he set thrust, and then I took over, it felt good. Um, and having the whole radio panel, the whole parking brake throttle system, both MCDUs, the gear up lever, it felt really good. And that's the thing with WingWing is they're making all of this, and you could pretty much have an entire Airbus cockpit for maybe around $1,500, pretty much,
Mm.
which is awesome. So, I mean, yeah, it was amazing. We did a nice little hot lap around Atlanta, so it was fun.
Never actually
Anyway.
put a price to what all those components would cost when you're done, when all is said and done. Man, maybe you're right about 1,500 for all
Yeah.
together, and then you just create your own shell or whatever that you do. But I mean, I didn't sit in it at all. I spent too much time with my camera shoved up against all the switches and knobs, checking them out
Right.
like a kid just to see if they move or how they felt. As Leo said, you're right. Trying to sit in front of somebody else's setup to fly, it's just like, it's tough. It's really tough. But yeah, I was doing that. But standing back and watch two people sit side by side, I think I saw Blue and you, Mello, sitting side by side
Mhm.
in it. Same green shirt for some reason. You guys were
Yeah, I don't know how
crew,
that happened.
like a flight
Yeah,
crew,
absolutely.
right?
I mean, they were
It was-
dancing together too. It's just I don't know.
Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a whole-
Hey,
it's a
when
whole
when
different
when
crew.
when two people vibe, they just vibe. You know what I'm saying?
But Micah said it was $2,300 total, including the
Yeah,
pedals.
which is
That's
awesome.
not bad. That is not bad. I could see a day when people start showing their wings, like their full wing setup, along with
Yeah.
some creative things. The only thing that they haven't provided that would be sweet
Screens.
is the rig that they're not in screens. Well,
Mhm.
that I think that's coming because they
Yeah,
already
yeah.
do it in DCS. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So just wait. They're saving that for the next
Man,
Expo.
I didn't think about
know.
that actually.
Oh yeah.
Man.
The PFD.
Well,
They're
I
gonna-
think overhead is next.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
I love the idea of overhead, but like, where are you gonna put that?
Bro,
Overhead.
This is not
like
what-
one of
here's-
those
here's-
monitor
overhead.
mounts,
Here's
bro,
no-
that'd
no,
be
no,
so
here-
easy.
Here's the thing. If the last two expos, they had a whole frame system built to drop everything in, and the only thing that was missing is the blank panels that you yourself. If they came out with a frame and say, "Hey, you got all our equipment, we're just going to give you the 320 frame. Here you go. Go home and assemble this yourself." You think
Oh,
people
that's
won't
not part
pick
of
it
the
up?
chair, the next level racing chair.
No.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I thought it
No,
was.
not even, no, bro.
No.
That's a whole the center pedestal between you and the first officer.
Really?
Whole metal
Completely custom made by WinWing just for the show.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought it was part of the next level.
But
racing
I
chair.
think
No,
I
no,
think that's gonna be a thing that's gonna be you're gonna be able to buy
yeah.
from WinWing 100%. And going back to the overhead panel, Blue, VESA mount, dude. VESA mount, just like a monitor overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they
Oh.
had a VESA mount on the gear up panel. It was a VESA mount. Was it that? No, it was something else.
That was
yeah.
aluminum, yeah.
Yeah, it was aluminum. So
Yeah.
they are hitting their stride hard.
XP
And you're
been
not
cutting out a
stopping.
bit.
Sorry,
I-
cheap
I
microphone.
have a
Go ahead, Leo.
question in reference to some other WinWing stuff. I don't know if you guys have a segment on it or not, but the force feedback yoke. Did you guys try that out?
Which
we
one?
haven't.
The Moza?
Yeah, no, the WinWing one.
The
They-
736.
They didn't
Awesome.
have it set up for us to try out. It was just on. You could feel the force of it, but it wasn't hooked up to a sim, so you couldn't really use it as a
Oh
yoke.
no,
if
no,
you
no,
know what I
no.
mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you put hands on it to move
Oh yeah,
that around?
100%. Yeah, it's
So my
it's
question
amazing.
is, what are you guys' thoughts on? I foresee having to redo my whole setup if I get that, just because of how the base is.
I will
Like, it
tell
doesn't
you.
mount
I will
to-
tell you this. If you guys don't mind me going real quick, if they
Go
could
ahead,
have came out with something that had the same form factor as the Thrustmaster and just put force feedback in it, which I think they could very much do, right? Considering you have AB6, right, and that's for feedback.
Yeah.
If you could put those motors in the front of a yoke of a size factor of a Thrustmaster yoke, it would be a winner for any day of the week,
bro.
right?
That'd be
in
a
my
no-brainer right
opinion.
there.
Now
Yeah, yeah.
that particular yoke, I don't know, dude. Yes, I find it hard for us simmers. You know, you mount that thing over your pedals, you're gonna have to leave it there. So whenever you fly an Airbus, even if you fly an Airbus, you're gonna have a yoke right in front of you. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's something that you could work out to where if you move your chair closer or whatever, you got your yoke, and you can kind of move farther away a little bit when you're flying a Airbus. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I can feel your pain. Though. I understand what you're saying.
I think that we're excited about that Moza. I think they call it the Super Taurus Massive Yoke. But I think in all reality, most of us are not going to use it. The reason I say that is because, like what Leo is saying, you're going to have to completely change your entire setup. And I think this is really made for somebody who is going to make a dedicated Boeing setup. Like, because for one, if you saw how large that thing was, like
You said the
can't fit
I'm sorry. You said the
TP
Moza.
No, this is
WinWing.
WinWing.
The
What do you
WinWing,
mean,
right? Okay.
Wing?
I thought I heard
Did I
you
say
say
Moza?
Moza. I
I
think
might have
so.
said
Yeah,
Moza.
yeah, you did say
WinWing.
Moza.
Yeah,
My bad. My bad. WinWing. I'm talking about WinWing. The WinWing, how massive it is, right? It takes up so much space. You can't fit the Thrustmaster TPRs underneath it. You can't fit any other rudder pedals underneath that, except for the WinWing rudder pedals. And so you're gonna have to have with the WinWing rudder pedals, which is not a big problem if you want that, but you're not gonna move out of the way to fly Airbus. So I think that's gonna be mainly for somebody like the way I see that Boeing one is kind of like those GA cockpits with the big G1000s on them.
Yeah.
Where you mean like you're not gonna go flying Airbus with that.
True.
You're not gonna go flying even a 737 with that. Like that's dedicated. Like I do GA, I fly this type of plane, and that's it. And I think that's kind of more of what that particular thing is made for. But to CST's point, I see that there is a massive gap right now in the market where if somebody could produce a yoke that has the like the Moza force feedback style like motor inside of a Thrustmaster, desk mounted yoke, I think that will be the better way to go
That's-
for the
that-
Pendular,
larger.
though.
That's
Hey,
gonna be
Thrustmaster,
yeah,
you're-
yeah,
you're-
pendular.
Pendular.
Yeah, that's
Are
gonna
you,
that's
are you
gonna break.
listening, Thrustmaster? Thrustmaster, are you listening? Let's
That's
go.
gonna break the market.
Everybody's
I think
listening.
it
I
will
hope
break
everybody's
the
listening.
market. Yeah. I don't think
Yes,
Thrustmaster is
good.
listening because they haven't been listening to us for the past 2 years. But, yeah.
I wasn't gonna
Haven't
be the
gotten there
one
yet.
to say it, but I don't know. I would just leave it
I
there.
don't know.
I mean,
Well, screw it. Let's go.
Thrustmaster-
Let's move on. Thrustmaster.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that WinWing between WinWing and Moza, they're done. That's what I think. Unless they come out, they didn't come out with nothing this year. Unless they
Or
come
last
out
year.
with or last year, unless they hit it hard between here and Minneapolis, I think they're done.
Mm.
I mean,
Yep.
I looked over there one time and I barely saw anybody at their booth. So I'd love to see them make a comeback in the game, but whereas we thought the quality on the Boeing yoke here was top of the line when that was released, and it was our first pendular yoke system. It's been doing great for me. I think the bar has been raised now with companies like WinWing, with companies like Moza, coming into the market. And like to Blue's point, if somebody can develop a pendular yoke system on a mount like what WinWing has for their combat flight sticks, I think that'll do it. I like to see Thrustmaster do that, but I mean, maybe we're just holding our breath at this point.
First of all, I'd
Interesting.
like to say, how dare you, Blue, say that they didn't come out with nothing last year. I'd like to remind you that Thrustmaster came out with Spaceship 6 something last year, okay?
That was like 2 months
Which
ago.
which was a huge hit, by the way, in the spaceship community, which is
They
a
did-
lot
they did
smaller
say
than
that
the
was
flight
a
sim
big hit.
community. May I add? Anyways, yeah,
I don't know.
I-
They're
I mean,
the space sim event that they have every year is bigger than Flight Sim Expo, but I don't know. That's a whole
is
other
it?
subject.
Oh,
I'm not
well,
even
then
gonna-
I retract my statement. But still, maybe it's because I'm a flight sim and I don't care about space simulator stuff. But in any case, yeah, I if Thrustmaster doesn't wake up and smell the roses, I think they're not going to be around for a lot longer, unless they focus on just driving, racing, and stuff like that.
So, I mean, I spoke to Tim at Thrustmaster because we've had some relationship with them in the past, and I still use Thrustmaster yokes, right? I'm sorry, Thrustmaster yoke and Thrustmaster throttle quadrant, the Boeing one and the Airbus one. And the one that was lacking was the Boeing one with the 3 quadrants. Me and Blue even talked to them like, why didn't you make it? Why only 3? And they were explaining some issues, whatever. But it's not nothing that they couldn't have gotten over. So I was telling Tim like, yo, listen, if you revamp your Boeing throttle and make it at least 4 quadrants and make the size of the handles close and resell that and maybe even make it raised, you're back in the game. You're not far from meeting because WinWing is concentrating, right? Yeah, the big yoke. Yeah, WinWing is concentrating on the Airbus right now. The big yoke is going to be for some people, not going to be mass market. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't move it, you can't work on your computer with that thing sitting there. With the 2 motors, it's going to be very heavy. But if Thrustmaster can step up the Boeing game again with a better throttle, maybe even a revamped pendulum yoke system, make it motor force feedback, they're back in the game. They're not far, but they're just going to have to do it and consult with some of you guys who are in the flight sim. Hey, what do you guys want? What do you guys need? What do you guys love? Let us develop it for you. And don't take 4 years to turn it around. Do it in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do it in 6 months.
They already have the know-how because they do it for racing, right? The force feedback and stuff. They know how to do it. It's not something new to them. All they got to do is figure out how to fit that particular motor in the pendulum yoke that they have, and they're back. That's all they got to do. They're back, dude. I feel.
Yep.
And make it a little more premium feel than the hard plastic.
And affordable.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy with it.
Yeah, affordable.
So, Owls and perhaps Adept, you're the younger cats in here. Do you guys even care? Do you have any
for sure.
affinity for Thrustmaster? Like whatever, that's beyond my time. What do you guys think about that?
Well,
Yeah,
right now
my
I'm
time.
using the Thrustmaster yoke, and I'm on my 3rd or 4th Thrustmaster yoke right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I
are
don't
you
know.
doing?
For some reason, I don't know if something in the system, half of the yoke just stops working over time. And
What?
I have had no, I swear, CST, I've been so fragile with it. It just randomly, the side buttons, when my push to talk and everything would stop working out of nowhere.
Fix for you. Hold on. HD Sim was having the same problem. There's a Thrustmaster calibration built directly into Windows, and you have to go there. CST showed it to me. You have to go there and recalibrate everything, and it will work smoothly. I promise you. But we don't know about it because nobody says it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a built-in Thrustmaster calibration in Windows 10, at least I know.
It is.
Try
I'm
that.
in 11.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it probably is in 11 too. It's the same
It's
thing.
an 11.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So, try that and see. But, as for somebody in the chat says with the throttle quadrant, make a Boeing throttle with start switches on it.
Yes.
Step up the
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
right?
Did you
That
guys
flip-up
see?
switch,
I'm sorry. Speaking of that, did you see what Flight Sim Factory just came out with?
Yes.
Oh. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Speaking-
PMDG rules.
They're new.
The Boeing switches the Flight Sim Factory came out
Yeah.
with
3D printed.
3D printed 40 Honeycomb Bravo. Amazing,
Mhm.
amazing stuff,
Yeah.
man. But anyways, I'm sorry, XP, go ahead.
But no. If they can make a stepped up Boeing quadrant, a really nice one, just like how they did the details in the Airbus one, I think they're back in the game. And do it now. Don't wait. Right. Don't let WinWing turn the finish off the Airbus and start up stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's just my take on that.
If WinWing gets to Boeing, that's it. You can hang it
They're
up.
done. Yeah, they're done.
That's
Yeah.
I feel like that's a
Yeah.
wrap.
Well, isn't their yoke they're working on, isn't it still a prototype?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's not you can't really make your final decision right now about it because, I mean, they're still testing, but maybe that's just their base for now. But I feel like if they make it a little bit smaller and maybe a little bit capable to fully fit into my next level racing chair, then I'm golden. I'm ready. So
It
I
does
definitely
fit.
pick
It
it up.
mounts that yoke mounts on top of the Orion pedal, so it does fit on
Mm.
the chair. But I will say this to close, for me at least, to close on Thrustmasters. I don't think that Thrustmasters have an issue with lack of ideas on what to do. I honestly don't. I think that the biggest issue that Thrustmaster is faced with is being able to compete with people like with companies like WinWing and Moza, because they can't do it at that price point, right? Because WinWing and Moza, they're building house. Thrustmaster is relying on other people to build their stuff for them, and then they got to mark it up to be able to make a profit. I think that's where they're having the biggest issue, in my opinion. Because just like we're having all these ideas and we're throwing all this stuff around, I am 100% sure that the team at Thrustmaster are like, hey, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. But it's like, hey, but we can't make it at that price point, so it's never gonna sell. It's never gonna work, right? I think that's the biggest issue, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
WinWing is kind of undercutting the entire market, right? I think these are all great products. And if Thrustmaster wanted to do it, they could, right? They have the ability to do it, but they can't match WinWing's price. I think Moza's trying to do that, but they're somehow not matching it either in some ways, but they're also going a different direction. So yeah, I think like Leo says, once WinWing gets through Airbus and gets over to Boeing, it's gonna be really hard for anybody to compete with WinWing going forward, including Thrustmaster. But I'll say, as a ex Thrustmaster ambassador, I'm quite disappointed in the showing from Thrustmaster the last couple of years. They didn't even have a streaming booth. Like last time, they've always had like a streams going on, and like Thrustmaster had always been the booth to be at. The landing challenges. Thrustmaster was always the booth to be at every Flight Sim Expo. This year, they were like a complete afterthought. WinWing was the booth to be at this year. All the creators were there, all the simmers were there, like all the people were there. And so I think that they've split their focus. You know, they've been doing farming and space sim, and obviously the racing and whatnot, and they just haven't developed anything for flight sim. But I don't know, man. I agree with CST. They need to make some big moves in the next year, or else they're going to be forgotten. Now, I mean, on the civil side, now they still have their military stuff that people enjoy, but on the civil side, as far as us and how we're concerned, yeah, WinWing is swamping it up. Let's talk about Meridian.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
let's bring
here
in
we go.
one more hardware, Meridian. Let's just start off the bat that what we saw cups, right? If anybody was confused. However, what do you guys think about the concept that Meridian is bringing, where you buy the base and then you can damn near swap out to GA, Airbus, and Boeing with that one base, having to rebuy multiple bases? What do you guys think about that? Because I think that's the concept going for with their yokes. So you guys think
Modular.
about that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Modular, yeah,
I will tell you real quick what I think about it. It's not Meridian's idea. It's the community's idea. We did it. You know, we did it with the Honeycomb Bravo, Flight Sim Factory, PRODESKSIM.
Facts.
The community
Facts.
did that. They just saw it and they're like, oh, look at that. They like that. That's what they want, right? So it's not something that Nikki woke up one night and is all like, oh my God, I just had a dream. You know, this is what we're gonna do. It's just he's actually doing right by looking at what the community wants and putting that into and kind of like appropriating himself for that concept. That's not his concept. Let's be honest. That's our concept, the community's concept, right? So I think it's cool that he's doing that. However, I will not comment on it until I see at least a working prototype, dude. I mean, you showed up to the expo with a piece of plastic, my dude.
Which got
Man,
ripped up because people thought it was real.
You
by
know,
the way.
and
Man.
I do
I tried
appreciate
to
the
move
fact
throttle.
I do appreciate the fact that he's bringing on board people like Donnie from Flight Sim Factory to help him out.
Yes.
I think that's a win. But at the same time, like I said, as much as I do trust Donnie because I work with Donnie all the time, I can't say that I really trust Nikki, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna wait.
Wow.
I'm gonna wait and see. But until you bring me something that I can put my hands on and try and see and feel and look at it working, it doesn't excite me anymore because I fell for that before I'm not gonna fall for it again, right? I'm not gonna get excited over a fake throttle set that you brought to the expo.
I agree, and I have to piggyback off of that. I agree with everything you said, and I love Nikki's passion, right, and his drive and his vision and whatnot. But he has not proven in a long time that he can actually produce and execute a product, right? In the last 3 to 4 expos, he's shown so many new cool concepts, and I mean, the freaking rudder pedals barely came out, like you know what I mean. And so, but here's the thing. I think a lot of people were excited about the Meridian. I might be maybe against the grain on this. I'm kind of not. I like the modular concept, but like at least the prototype he brought and having all the screens on there and stuff like that, I was like, I feel like it's a bit overproduced. If this makes sense, like there's a lot of crap on that throttle.
It's huge.
That like
Are you saying that it's more for a niche market, mass market, perhaps? Like there's some people who have limited space and can't put a WinWing autopilot panel up on their desk plus a keyboard and all this other stuff, but you can get one thing in front of you that will have all of it. Is it?
Yeah, yeah. I
niche
guess it
market,
works for
maybe?
that. That's a good
Okay.
use. I'm just thinking like the screens. Like I think Martini in our chat was saying that like the screens are so small. He's an older guy. Like how is he gonna read anything on that screen?
Yeah.
My thought was like, when am I ever gonna look away from my monitor and look at the Meridian screen, right? Like to make a change. And so I think it's all great concepts, but I'm just in some cases they don't seem practical. I love the modular concept, being able to put things in and put things out magnetically. So I mean, we'll have to get our hands on it, have a working version, and see how it actually plays out in the end. But right now, I'm with CST. It's like I'm not really too excited until I get a working version.
Anybody else have anything to add with that? Owls?
I would say it's about the same. I think I agree with like what Mike is saying in the chat. Like it's, in my opinion, just completely built for people that don't have the space to put the full WinWing stuff on your desk. Me personally, after looking at it, I think it is pretty cool to have, but I would prefer having my whole WinWing and my McDoos and all that just full size rather than just the little one on my throttle. That's just me though.
What are you, Pilot Depth? What do you think?
Well,
Be honest.
I'm
Go.
gonna have to say I disagree.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Obviously with having the Bravo right now, I feel like it's a huge step up from that, knowing that you get the GA, Boeing, and Airbus, and you get, I mean, even though you get an entire autopilot panel and stuff, and I already got the whole WinWing set up too. So I mean, I don't really mind it because the Bravo already has its little autopilot down below, so it's a little bit of an upgrade too. But another thing that pretty much got me really looking forward to it was, if you notice, like for the GA one is, and I fly a lot of GA as well, so all their GNS GPS on that screen too was pretty unique, because having that on my side, and instead of swapping out my big Airbus one for just a little GPS down there, but all of it down there, I think it'd be pretty cool. Definitely an upgrade from my current Bravo throttle, and so I'm looking forward to it. Plus, I don't know if he mentioned it to you guys, but they do plan on motorizing it later on.
Oh boy.
They did
I
mention
didn't
it.
know
Yeah.
that.
Didn't know
Having
that.
that auto thrust take over,
Yeah.
which is going to be pretty cool.
I've been begging for that
Can-
forever.
Can I
So-
be honest about that particular? They're talking the moon, right? They're talking motorizing stuff, and they're talking all this, but yet at the same time, and they're talking about selling the unit with all these different panels that already come with it. Boeing, Airbus, not only the levers, all the panels that you have for the autopilot panel, all of this, and now they're talking about motorizing as well while keeping it below $400.
There's no way.
That's
no,
where-
I don't know, bro.
the motoring is
way.
going to be another. It's going to be like a different box.
That's where I kind of chime
I don't
in.
know. I don't know,
agree,
dude.
I agree.
We'll
I
see.
agree with CST. I also agree with Blue and Depth. Do I think it has the potential to be a game changer and a replacement for my Honeycomb Bravo? the potential's there. However, seeing how ambitious, Nikki is, as far as this Meridian thing, I think it's part of the reason, and this is not to throw shots at anybody, but I think this is part of the reason why he got himself into the scenario that happened before. It's like you haven't even finished and fulfilled one unit or one product before you're just like, oh, I got this idea, I got that idea, I got this idea, I got that idea. And so, if somebody is investing money, they want to start to see some return on their investment pretty doggone quick. Do I think that at some point, if he just focuses on this, there may be the potential that this thing could take off the ground. But to Dev's point, I was right there when we were talking to him as far as it getting motor like that. I think the one reason why I'm excited about it because he's bringing other developers like Donnie on, whom I've also worked really closely with. And this guy, maybe can help kind of check them as far as the real expectation of cost. So I mean, I'm excited to see him back. However, I'm just like, dude, just slow down a bit. Let's just slow down a bit and let's not get overzealous as far as everything is concerned, because whoever's helping you, whoever's investing, you don't want to run them off with idea after idea after idea after idea. I mean, that he's talking about including a lot that, I would be happy to pay, 50, 80, 90, $100 for to get, another little panel and another throttle set for, say, Airbus or Boeing. Me personally, that's just me. Also, to piggyback off of depth, I don't think the electronics of the screens and everything is really that needed. I think WinWing has that market, especially with with the Airbus FCU and then now the Boeing FCU. Now, could it come in handy for GA? Yeah, sure. But other than that, Boeing and Airbus, I think WinWing has got that market locked down.
Cool, pretty cool. Outside of the major people that we just spoke about, WinWing, Honeycomb, Thrustmaster, Meridian, any other hardware developer that caught you guys' eyes on the floor? Because
What was CST made a video on it? I forgot their name. It started with the M, but they had quite literally an entire Airbus cockpit, but miniature.
Oh,
What was the name
yeah.
of it?
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, let's talk
Oh
about
my God, I saw that.
the
That-
miniature cockpit.
Motozolo. I
Everything
was like,
worked.
Motozolo. I was like, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
everything.
look. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. What I think about that. I think it's an awesome idea. I think it's amazing, right? If they could do something like that and price it less than a full size cockpit, I'd be on it, dude. But they're asking like $5,000-$6,000 for it.
Yeah. it's
Now, I
expensive.
think even at that price, I think there's still a market for it. But I think if they could figure out a way to maybe not use the Pro Sim license, which costs money, if they could figure out a different way of doing it and coming down extensively on the price, I think they'd do a lot better than what they would do with a $6,000
Yeah.
product. I will probably be a customer. I'm not gonna lie, because that's just cool. It's just freaking amazing.
Yeah, I would give him an award for like best innovative
Yeah,
innovation. Just,
exactly.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. That was cool. Anything
Yeah.
else you guys saw that was cool?
With the miniature, I mean, I'm not the customer because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I think it looks cool, but like I can't think of a scenario where I'd ever want a miniature Airbus cockpit.
I got the idea from it as bringing that on vacation, like you just pack everything in my suitcase and then unload it in the hotel room and just have a whole Airbus cockpit.
Listen, you really have a problem.
You
if
could
you're
probably,
carrying all
yeah,
that.
you could
My
probably
wife
do it
keeps
with
Tell me
that.
like
bro.
you're on vacation flying. I'm streaming my
Yeah.
miniature cup.
I just can't see. I just can't see. When I put my hands on it, it was just like I was like this on the throttles. You
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah,
you-
tiny
you-
throttle.
yeah, you couldn't full palm it. It was just like
Yeah,
So it's not for me personally. It felt nice, but it's just not.
Yeah.
like I said, I'm gonna say what I said before. It's cute.
For me. Right.
Cute.
Oh my word. Yeah. Any more hardware you guys saw? You know,
trying to think.
because we're kind of a niche community. We're like we don't venture real world. Because I saw some sim setups is like blow me away. Like for GA
Desktop
stuff.
Pilot. Somebody in chat was talking about Desktop Pilot. It's more of a GA setup. I was going to ask Owls in depth about that one. If you guys checked that one out, it was like a Cessna cockpit.
I don't remember the names, but I do
Yeah.
remember seeing one that had like a G1000 and also like what I usually fly with the G5s, the Garmin 5s.
Oh, those were so
Those
cool.
are those are pretty cool.
Dude,
The
yeah.
thing is, I don't know what I would do with like something like that because I don't have like a. I feel like for those who need kind of like a miniature cockpit, like a cockpit wall kind of thing, not just have it on your desk. They're really cool though. It's just I don't
Yeah.
see how I could use
No.
it.
Yeah.
One that actually
Um,
stood out to me was over in the back near VATSIM. I don't know what the name of it was, but it's like a TBM cockpit. Did you guys see that?
Oh
one?
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
tried that
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
said a
was
TBM
sick.
cockpit?
Yeah.
The whole
Trooper and I flew on that and got some footage coming soon to the channel. But Trooper and I flew on that. But the thing about it was kind of falling apart. So
Was it
I
really?
don't, yeah, I don't like the yoke came off on him and he was just like, oh,
What?
I didn't break it.
Oh my
And the guy
God.
was like, yeah, I know, it's kind of messed up. And I was just like,
It's
this
just
really?
broken.
Yeah.
What's funny is that booth, he was only settling the throttle. Everything else he just custom made, just
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the
that's
heck
good.
of it.
I don't.
Well, that's crazy
Right.
because the yoke was actually TBM-ish. I mean, it was a nice yoke.
Well,
It felt
yeah, the yoke was actually, I
The
believe, it was
trim
the
reel was
Bruner.
pretty cool too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. It was. And then it had an auto fuel selector switch. It was like
Yeah.
automatically switch it. But yeah, I believe the
Yeah.
yoke was a Bruner yoke, but he custom built the actual like padding around it to make it like a
Okay.
TBM.
He said
which
he
was,
he said he 3D printed it.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I don't think anybody's mentioned Scholarkey. Scholarkey. The only thing with Scholarkey is like 1% of the flight sim community, right? That's something that
Yeah.
Yeah.
90% of the people
Oh,
who do flight simulation can't
I
even
met
touch.
somebody who bought it, by the way.
Yep,
But
me
me
too.
too.
I know
He
the guy who
ran-
bought it.
Me
The
too.
whole
Right through the
thing.
door.
Yeah.
But I will
Like,
say
yeah.
this: we didn't mention PU Air Korea as well, which
that's
I
right.
I stand heavily on their CDU V2. I love it. I use it all the time.
Yes.
The it's just so easy, man. You just swap that faceplate. You can go from plane to plane, and they're coming
Yeah.
out with a lot of cool stuff as well that is very approachable by your average flight simmer. You know, light panels and G1000s and the GNS. I think it's
And
absolutely fantastic.
affordable. And
Yeah,
affordable. at that.
affordable. Yeah.
PU Air Korea came in the market, and now they're at Expo within like 8 months,
Yep.
that's-
and they have stuff to show. Like
Mhm.
if you want to invest in a FMC that you don't want to have to unplug and put a new one in, you get their FMC stuff. It's more expensive to start, but anything over 3 plates, you're at the same price. By the way, if you do the math on it, so you can now have your Airbus, Boeing, your 777 specifically, your MD-11,
Yep.
your CRJ, and all that stuff. If you're one of those people like I don't want to, and you can spare the space on your hard graphics card for the HDMI connector, it works. Also, X-Plane, it works with everything in X-Plane that that software works with too. And they have the second lighting panel now. The first one we got is, but I like the individual specific ones for the Airbus and the Boeing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those are just quick switches to put right up on top of your TV. If you want to reach up and touch it, click. You can look up
Yeah.
and see if the light is on or not. So thank you for bringing that up, CST. Don't
Yep.
forget PU Korea. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
I
they're
gotta-
doing great.
Yep. I got a
Yeah.
message by text message, and we're gonna probably jump into some software devs now. First one is Bluebird. Anybody saw it? Impressions of seeing it being flown around, and also did anybody ask a question? 2024 at drop, or still
Wait,
gonna
say
be
that again. You get
Yeah,
cut
you
off.
cut out.
Yeah, man. I think my internet connection is bad. All right. So, anybody flew the 757? What did you think about it? What do you think about it graphically? And did you talk and find out if it's going to be available in 2020 or just 2020 to begin with?
I forgot to ask that. Dang it.
So
I
I
did,
I got to see it. I got to fly it. It felt amazing. It looked amazing. It sounded phenomenal. Some sounds needed to get fixed, like the actual 40, 50, 30, that type of stuff. they actually said it as well. They need to fix on some sounds, but it sounds great. And yes, it ends fly and flies great as well. And I did ask the question after I flew it, talking to one Shervin, yeah. It's not gonna be out right away for 2024 as well. It's gonna initially
Come
drop
on,
for 2020.
Sherwin. Come
It's
on,
gonna initially
Sherwin.
drop for 2020, and then it's gonna
Come
come
on,
to
Sherwin.
2024. I think they should probably rethink that. But at the same time, because I think by the time Bluebird releases the 757, 2024 is
We're gonna be
definitely
on
gonna
Sim Update 5 by then, bro.
it's definitely gonna be the sim to be in, dude. Definitely 100%. So I think they should probably shift focus sooner rather than later. But that's just my 2 cents on that.
I've told people this before. I'm personally really excited about Bluebird 767 just because that 76 brings so many good cargo ops and airliner ops. You could do some Prime Air, FedEx, UPS, just literally anything and anywhere. So I've been more so looking forward to that project. But I will say, after trying out the 75 at Expo, it's gonna be one fun airplane to fly. I climbed out almost 25 degrees of nose up pitch, keeping my
It's a
speed
rocket.
and just going straight up. Like that was fun. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
It looked pretty nice too. Like I know it's still like a development build, but the textures were there. In my opinion, I didn't really see anything wrong with the sounds. And obviously, you know, Boris is on the track, so it has to be something nice.
Boris on the track.
I enjoyed it. It was a nice little airplane to mess around with. And it does have strut compression. The nose actually will dip down if you slam on the brakes. Nobody models that for some reason.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
I
So,
didn't
yeah,
try. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Leo. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying I didn't try it out. I did step over there and watch for a little bit. The reason, again, what I said earlier about trying things out, but that is one plane in particular that I want to be blown away when I have the opportunity to stream it. I want it to be a true live reaction. But what I will say is that standing there and getting some footage of it, absolutely, I personally was blown away on the sounds. I didn't hear any, anything that may have needed work, but it sounded absolutely phenomenal. I watched some other kid do an approach. He buttered it, and it sounded absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm excited as well for the 7.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
All right, and moving
just
over to the other.
real
Go
quick,
ahead.
guys. When I said something was wrong with the sound, something was not wrong with the sound. Some call outs were just being called out whenever they didn't need to be called out, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
So that's something they need to
Yeah.
fix.
Sequence. I got you. What about PMDG being there? And did you guys look at the 7.4 that they have on display at the
They had a
PMDG?
7.4 on display.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
guys didn't see the 7.4 too? Was it? Yeah.
Well, was it the model you're talking about?
No. The software, just the airplane itself.
Well, it was the
Really?
slideshow, right? The slideshow.
The slideshow, right? What do you guys think?
When
about
I
that?
I
looked at
mean-
the slideshow, it's just the cabin for the 7.3. I didn't see
Well,
the
I
7.4.
mean,
really?
it's
Yeah.
it's a long
let
way
me
down
ask
the
you this.
road. So
PMDG was a diamond sponsor. Did they need it to be there? Let me ask the hard question. What do you guys think?
Nah.
Did it impact you that they were there?
I mean, with what I saw, it was just them showing off a 737 and the 777. It was kind of just like I've flown these planes before. I know what they're about, and it's
yeah, same with the
PMDG.
DC-6. So
Yeah, DC-6. I didn't care.
Yeah.
that
I
much
didn't even
for it.
waste my time going to the booth because I mean,
I grabbed
we
the
knew-
sticker and went.
yeah, we know
obviously
at
got
this
my
point
little
what,
PMDG sticker.
we know at this point what PMDG is about. So
Yeah.
I was looking at all of the stuff that that's fresh.
I did get the clicky pen, the pen that's in
Oh,
the
yeah.
cockpit.
We
I
now
got
can
one of those.
I went to
yes,
get
there you go.
one and they were out. So I'm
I'm
You got
gonna.
your pen?
I want to butt in this one. As much as I don't want to talk about PMDG, I will talk about PMDG. I'm let down. I'm honestly let down, and there's a few reasons why I'm let down by PMDG. I love. First of all, I like to say I love my PMDGs. Okay, I'm not trying to say they're not good or whatever. I love all my PMDGs. What I hate about PMDG is the fact they can't just push a hotfix on the 737 to make it work on 24. Number one.
24.
Number one, because it's doable. They could do it overnight, in my opinion. They're just refusing to do it because I believe, and I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, whatever. I've been wrong before, right? I think it's because they're looking at, making the money on a new plane, which it's cool. Just still give me the update, make the plane compatible with 24, and then sell me the 2024, native version. Cool. I'm down, right?
I agree. I agree with that.
But the fact that they're refusing to just push up a hot fix to fix a TCAS and a little screen that really, there's only a few issues with that plane. I've flown it on 2024 already. It handles fantastic. It flies great. TCAS doesn't work and the map is screwed. That's the only two issues I had. Everything else works perfect. Just fix it. It's easy. It should be simple for them to do, but they're not doing it. That's what really irritates me about PMDG.
You're gonna wait 8 months and you're gonna like it.
Well, and that's exactly what PMDG has already said. You're gonna wait and you're gonna like it. You're gonna buy it. So I don't care what you got to say.
I will be buying the 7.
Well, yeah, 100%.
I saw the image of it, and it brought me back to the plane that I originally fell in love in aviation with when I used to work on that plane. Right, I'm gonna buy it, but it's bittersweet because, as you said, I builds bred out the base A300, which I have, that works in 24. And if you wanted to upgrade to the higher model, you did. And most people did. Most people goes, I want the goodness of the good. I'll pay my extra $20-$30 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they could do that, And so I did stop by the booth. I didn't say hello to anybody. I looked at what they had. It's like, okay, it looks good, but it's like, that was it for me. And I'm thankful that they are a diamond sponsor of Flight Sim Expo. Flight Sim Expo need the sponsorship to keep this thing going, but I was like, okay, other people feel differently because, he had a lot of people asking to him, which is good, So from a show perspective, hey, they fill out a space on the floor, but personally, that 737 burned me up big time.
I felt like with what they had to offer at the booth, they should have been again on Friday doing a presentation on stage.
Should have been a video.
They've been promoting leading up to Expo. Oh, come to our booth. We'll show you the new 747. We're thinking we're gonna see like how Bluebird did it, how A220 did it. We can actually see it in action in the sim live. And it's just a slideshow. I'm like, that could have been a forum post. That could have been a Discord post. That could have been, on Friday you could have shown some, some stuff. But like, I don't know, I feel like I wish they would have did a presentation on Friday and kind of broke down, showing what's coming up next. Show the screenshot of the 747. What's special about it, right? Show, what's special about the new 777 about to drop, the 5th version of it, right? Talk about the Max, whatever. Like, I don't know. That's kind of what I was expecting, I guess. So yeah, I wasn't very impressed by PMDG's booth this year either.
Not really.
Gotcha.
You know who I wish could go to Expo? iFly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And show us
they
the
weren't there.
and show us what?
and drop us,
Well, yeah,
show us the
that was
7, show us the
that's what I was about to say.
787 that they might have in development. Can you imagine, bro?
Like,
Blow us
what?
away.
What? Wait. Are we starting a rumor over here?
Yeah, I'm starting a big rumor. That's a rumor. Saying.
Guys,
Honestly,
said that
that
there's a
would be the
787
best. that would be if iFly made a 787, it would hit hard.
We
I
need
mean,
Max 9 first. That's all I
honestly,
want. Give me Max
Kevin
9
in my
first.
chat just said it too. Phoenix could have been there.
Where the
too,
heck were
right?
they at Expo?
They could have showed us some
Yeah.
Neos.
Hey,
Yeah.
See?
Big,
See,
big
like,
one.
This
Go
this
ahead.
is the stuff right here. We're talking about kind of reversing back to the beginning of our stream. We're talking about Friday and the announcements. This is the stuff we want to hear about. What's
Yeah.
going on with Phoenix? What's going on with iFly? What's going on with the future of PMDG, for example? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not hearing about I don't know, what we did hear about. Like I know that they're paying for these slots, and PMDG may not want to pay for the slot, or iFly may not want to pay for the slot. But like that's what I want. As a to sit there for 5 hours, I would sit there for an hour and listen to Phoenix break down
Shots
what's happening.
fired. Marsh says, shout out to PMDG. They showed and Microsoft Flight Sim didn't. True.
Yeah,
We should
That
I
is
go
mean,
around and
they have a
say-
point.
That is-
I mean,
that is
on
true.
that, can I ask you guys a question on that?
Let's go there.
Right.
What would you think? What?
The reason why they didn't show up?
Yeah, why? Why do you guys think Microsoft and Asobo said, "Hey, we got we got too much work to do. We can't really come over. Hey, enjoy the
Because obviously
expo.
they had too much work to do. Obviously.
Well,
They were busy.
besides that, what would you think the welcoming reaction of the flight sim would have been like
Everybody would have been side-eyeing them.
for Microsoft and
The whole
Asobo? Even
time.
though I would say this, even though they've really come a long way since release of 2024. I would say that.
Oh yeah,
However,
Q3 is gonna be the big thing. But
However,
yeah.
me personally, knowing that they had the know-how and the experience from 2020, I was not expecting for them to drop something like what they did with 2024. That was the last thing I was thinking, that this thing was going to be a disaster, right? And in my opinion, it was a complete disaster, right? But yeah, they did turn it around, and I think they're coming a long way. But what would you guys think, like, the flight sim community would have reacted like with Microsoft and Asobo at the expo?
I gotten 5 minutes of earful, but then we would have been okay with it. We're
Yeah.
we get upset at people, but when we see them face to face,
It's
we'll
a
tell them
different
what we
story.
think. But it's
Yeah.
a different story. But yeah, they should have showed, man.
That's what I was gonna say too. I think that keyboard warriors are different in person.
Sure.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I think obviously the topic would have came up. It's just no shading it, right? It was a horrible release. They know that, they've admitted it. I actually think it would have been more beneficial for them to be there at Expo, because they could have did some damage control and
Cool.
fixed their name and made it better. Like, I think people would have came to 24 actually hearing, like, I want to hear from Jorg, from the people who make the game, admit to us face to face that they made a mistake and what they're doing to fix it, right? Because what they're doing, like CSC said, right now they've come a long way. Sim Update 3 is gonna be freaking fire, bro. Like, I'm done with 2020. I'm dead serious. Like,
Same.
I don't need it because 2024 works just
Yeah.
fine for me. And for a lot of people, that's happening. And we're in that transition period where it's getting better. So, I mean, if they came to the show and broke down what the roadmap was, and it's just different hearing it from the developers themselves of what the heart of the game is, or the sim is, and where you're going, what you're working on, what you're doing to fix what was wrong. You know what I mean? X-Plane did it, obviously, where they, well, not really this year, but talking to them in person, on the stage, or at the booth. I think it would have been just fine. I don't think there would have been people with pitchforks coming at them. I don't think they would have went home all with their heads down like, oh my God, we failed the community. I don't think that at all. I think it would have been the complete opposite. So I think it was a huge mistake that Microsoft was not at the event this year.
Yep. And as I talk about Microsoft, you mentioned X-Plane. A presentation for X-Plane on Friday, the hype, man, because that weather radar and that weather stuff that they're bringing in X-Plane is killer. Like, not only lateral, but up and down, you could tilt, and it's going to be native in the sim for anybody to use in X-Plane. That weather radar was worth time, but it was kind of awkward with 4 people on the stage, and it's like, anyway. But I give them credit though, because their booth was nice. I turned a corner on X-Plane. It was like a classroom. There were like 50 guys with laptops all open in a classroom.
That
Like,
was fire.
I was like, whoa, look at this. That was fire, bro. Right on the floor. Development, and I love that with X-Plane. So Microsoft definitely showed with a booth with a couple
X-Plane.
of setups. Exactly. Just comparing both. What I'm saying. So I think that was it. One other product that we haven't talked about that I think is a game changer as well is Navigraphs.
I'm about to say Navigraph, yeah.
that taxi thing, that 3D taxi. Just plug in the numbers and it will just, that's magenta line on the ground basically. So
And I will,
Yeah.
to
Go ahead,
add
Leo.
to that, they did, I don't know if anybody else got this, but they did say that they're working closely with VATSIM, that when VATSIM gives you your taxi instructions, it automatically interlinks with your Navigraph
Oh wow.
and populates that for you.
Okay.
They say they don't know if it's going to be 100%, but this is what they're trying to do.
No,
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
gonna be sick. I told them they need to compete with what's the real world one called?
Foreflight?
Foreflight.
Foreflight,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
they're-
yeah.
like they have some
They're-
serious tools in Navigraph. But
I
he
mean-
explained to me why it can't do that. But yeah,
They're pretty
ahead.
much Foreflight for Microsoft Flight Simulator and
They're
X-Plane and
basically the
stuff.
same
Yeah,
thing.
like. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I thought I just mentioned that.
Actually, while you're mentioning X-Plane, XP, Anybody actually go to the booth to ask them what's up with the scenery?
I didn't go to the booth. I stopped Ben Supnick, who is actually working on the scenery. And basically, yes, it's in the middle of development. They ran into a performance problem that they didn't foresee with redoing the entire thing, right? And they're trying to work through that because, something about using all, it's going to make the difference. Something about using all the core.
Apparently, it's a cuss word.
All the cores. I think that's what he said. All the cores.
Something about using all the cores.
sounds like XP's computer's not using all the cores right now, dude. What's up?
Exactly. No, I think the hand of God is watching Netflix upstairs and my poor little internet connection. But yeah, something about performance with getting all the cores to work properly. But yet, it's not ready. They didn't show anything on it because I asked them, hey, how comes you didn't show it? It's in development. It's not ready, but it's 3/4 of the way there.
Mark, stop it, dude. Explain
when they're ready.
Stop it.
They'll be doing it. So just hang tight. However, I did compliment them on how X-Plane looked. Now, don't know what they did, what button they pushed, but X-Plane looks darn good right now. I gotta say.
They're definitely getting better too, man. They're definitely doing. I hadn't flown X-Plane in like 6 or 7 months. And I flew it recently before the expo, and I was pretty impressed by it, 100%.
Greg said X-Plane tried to talk about it on the stage, but they got Apollo'd, meaning that they got ushered off the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark over here, Major Mark says X-Plane was there asking for a friend. He's just being Mark. He's just being Mark. That's all.
Yeah,
I really did enjoy the little booth next to the X-Plane booth. They were teaching people how to make planes and make sceneries, and I thought that was so. I hope that in the years to come, that X-Plane and maybe even Microsoft would do that again and kind of help us get more third parties in the future, get people making more stuff.
All right, can we talk about location? Greg mentioned it earlier. Like, hey, what do we think about Providence? And then that gets us the next location for this stuff.
I honestly I was thinking it was gonna be pretty bad, and I got there and I didn't really think it was that bad. But once we start realizing, like, we were finishing up the expo and then going out to eat lunch or dinner somewhere, and then about like 7-8 o'clock there wasn't much to do. He was either going to the clubs that I actually, hold on, let me rephrase this. It's probably worse for me because I couldn't go anywhere, basically.
Both of us.
Yeah, we couldn't go anywhere. So after everybody finished up the activities, for me and him, we weren't allowed to be anywhere. That's probably what it was. So
It was so bad dropping off owls that one night.
Yep.
Are you sure you can't let them in?
And like even in the X-Plane rave, I went in and they were like, "Nah, you can't go." And then eventually we convinced them, and they got on my hand and start drilling X's on my hand. So it was.
I think it's really they told him stay far away from the bar.
Stay far away from the bar. And guess we were standing right next to the bar downstairs.
Look, I mean, maybe I'm a cheap guy, but who thinks that airport food is expensive?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it always is.
I went to the airport to have lunch before I left, rather than spending more money in Providence buying food. For some reason, when you pay $9 for butter, you know they're expensive. All right.
Yeah, Providence was surprisingly expensive. I thought because it was like not a popular town like Vegas that it would be cheaper. But yeah, like eating out was fairly expensive in Providence.
I think it's because they knew we were coming.
Yeah, no, I think that's the process. To be honest, man, Providence. I remember Providence being expensive decades ago when I went to Providence for the first time. Dude, it's just expensive.
I will say, I tried a buffalo chicken sandwich 3 days in a row at 3 different places, and they were really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was good food. It was definitely good food. I will say this about Providence. I like the fact that everything was within walking distance, and you could go to the Federal. What was it? Federal Boulevard.
Federal Hill.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything was literally like 10-minute walk away from from all the hotels. I thought that was pretty cool. You really couldn't do that with Vegas unless you walked for miles and miles.
We had the mall. We went to buy cheesecake in that big mall,
Yeah, the
Um,
mall, food courts, like you said,
yeah,
shopping and
Level
f-
99.
and restaurants. It was good. I didn't think it was gonna be that good, and like Al said, but then it kind of grew on me. You know, it was a good spot,
Yeah,
I
except
like the
agree.
weather.
except for the price. I think it was very expensive, dude. Extremely expensive.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really. The fellas will tell you I wasn't too excited about it being Providence. I'm like, who's going to Providence? But once we got up there, like piggybacking off CST, it was fairly decent. I mean, walking everywhere. We didn't, you park one time, pay 50 in the garage, and then you're there all day. You walk up the street to Federal Hill or wherever. It was just really accessible. I personally didn't think that everything was super expensive, but who am I to judge anything over over the weekend? So
I mean, I guess it depends on when you
yeah,
go, right? But when you go to a
yeah,
place that charge you $9 for butter, that's probably
We're done.
expensive.
this is true. This is true. I
Yep.
mean,
that happened.
You know,
That
I
did happen.
the first night I was there, we went to a restaurant with Mark, and I think my steak alone was like $77, 8-ounce steak.
Yep.
So
Damn.
yeah,
oh yeah,
it's,
no.
it's pretty expensive.
Where'd y'all
And
go?
yeah, and I go to Miami. I live in Miami, which everything in Miami was expensive, and I was paying
Yeah.
prices for a regular restaurant that in Miami it's up there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, interesting. But anyway, so
Yeah, it's all relative. I
new
guess.
location,
Mm,
MSP,
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, the home of Delta Airlines. I think we're all
Yeah.
going to be flying on Delta.
I
Get
was
into
about to say,
Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
as a big Delta fan, my
Oh,
goal
here we go.
here, because
Uh-oh.
I love airplanes, what we all do. So my goal here is I'm gonna connect through Atlanta, the good old hometown
Yeah.
that I miss, and then go from there to MSP on a 350. That's my goal.
350.
I knew he
Yep,
was
yep,
going to say
yep,
that.
yep.
That's my goal.
I think
I'm gonna
everybody's
try and
trying to
get
do
it
that.
back to back from Orlando, Atlanta, Atlanta MSP,
Yeah, they'll
850.
be running those too.
I would probably do the same if I was younger, like Al's, and just
Mm-hmm.
aspiring to fly in a 350 that he's probably never flown into. But I've flown on those type of planes multiple
I had a
times.
different-
I really don't
Yeah.
don't care, right?
I had a different thought.
I'd rather fly direct.
I want to go on I already checked my flight Fort Lauderdale to Minneapolis, but I want to be on a 757 again.
Mm.
I haven't been on a 757 in a long time. That's what I want to be on. By that time,
Hopefully
Bluebird
we have the
will be out.
Bluebird. Yep.
Exactly. I want to get one of them 757s up to Minneapolis. That's what I want.
Rocket ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a unique plane, man. If you never flew on a 757, I hope they don't die out, and they will. 321 is going to replace them, but the 757 is special.
Mhm.
That's what I want to fly on.
Yeah,
I think-
we flew on one a couple years ago from DCA to LAX. That was really
Yeah.
nice. And it was the non-wingleted version of the 7.
Old school 75.
Delta, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
But
think.
then,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say about the location.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the location itself, probably because it's one of those places that I have not been to yet, Minneapolis. So I'm
Same
excited
here.
to go check out Minneapolis. Yeah, I had been to Providence before. I've been to Vegas. I've been to Texas. I've been to Orlando. I've been to San Diego. So it's one of those things like, oh, why again? Why that place? But Minneapolis, never been there. So I'm excited to go check it out.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
do kind of. Go ahead, XP.
no, I was gonna say I've been to Minneapolis before. I actually laid over like 5 hours in the airport. I was doing a connecting flight, and I actually left the airport doing my connection time. Took the train to Mall of America, hung out in there. They had like a big Megatron statue in the mall. It's huge. Then went back to the airport, all on the train. And the buildings downtown. But I would love to go back just to see it. But go ahead, Leo.
I don't know. I think I'm getting initial Providence vibes as far as the.
Oh, boy.
No. When I say that, I'm saying like I'm not really overly excited about MSP. Never been, but not really overly excited about it. So we shall see how this one goes.
Yeah.
Well,
I
isn't
mean,
it-
shout out to Flight Sim Expo for making us see America, places that would
Yeah,
never
yeah,
go
yeah.
to. So it's interesting.
What do you guys think about the possibility of going up to Canada?
No,
wouldn't mind it.
no,
If they can
no,
swing
Maple
that.
syrup.
no. You
Crody?
thought
For
Providence.
Expo?
You thought Providence was expensive?
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
Montreal's expensive.
go to Canada and then tell me how expensive Providence
Toronto's
was.
expensive. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
no.
Yeah, and
Definitely
you know,
not.
yeah, Canada is a little different. I don't know. But I want to look up. Anybody looked up the location in Minneapolis where this is going to be at all to
Me
see where
and
the hotel
CSC
is?
just recently did, or me and Mark did earlier.
Is it downtown? Is it close to stuff?
He said it
By
They
the
was like
said
airport?
it-
8 miles or 8 something away from the airport.
Okay.
Like 10 minutes, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Look, I'm looking forward to it. Why not? It's just going to be an expo. You guys are all flexible. That's why I love hanging out with you guys. You guys can go anywhere. I realize you just make it work. And when
It
you
don't
all
matter
come,
where they at. I'm there.
and when they come through, they come through. Like, yeah, we're
That
bringing
is-
10 of us and 15 more.
Data is saying it's downtown, right next to the Mississippi River. The location in Minneapolis.
Okay.
All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. And somebody said the food prices are like very good, middle of the road prices, $10 to $35 for a meal.
Yeah, when they were saying the hotel costs yesterday,
Yeah, 150 to 180.
that was nice, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Better than
I'm saying.
Providence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mine
And
was like
Vegas for that matter,
2
right?
something a night.
I think Vegas was more expensive than 150, wasn't it?
No, except when they add the tourist tax, resort tax,
Oh,
California
God.
tax, Nevada
Right.
tax, resort tax with no resort. Like,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
gonna charge me resort tax, you better let it be a resort. You know
For
what
me,
I'm
that was an immigrant
Yeah.
tax, but let's not talk about that.
saying? An accent tax. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You pay us this much money, we won't call ICE tax. How about
There you
that?
Oh man. Yeah, so,
That was a joke, guys. That was a
But-
joke. That was a joke.
But all right. Overall expo experience. Let's start. Owls work way up. Overall expo experience in this one. What do you rate
Well,
it?
this was my second one, and it was. I think now knowing like from last year what to expect, like how it kind of runs, like what you do on Friday, what people do after, and actually kind of knowing more people in the group. Because like Data, for example, I met the dude last year. Like you and Blue were having breakfast with him. You're like, this is Data. I was like,
Cool.
hey, but like now I actually know people, so it was a lot better. I really enjoyed it. I think it was pretty fun.
1 to 10.
Out of 10,
Yeah, the whole weekend
Mm.
give it
combined.
a. Well, see, I went train spotting with Blue the other day. Actually, it was last night.
And y'all didn't tell me,
Blue,
my man.
I thought y'all was gone.
We got
So that-
some talking to do.
It was
bumps
spare
it
the
up. We'll
moment, bro.
do-
We were dropping somebody off at the airport and just happened to stay.
I'll give it like a little 9, 8.9. That's my goal.
Oh, wow,
8.9,
okay, good.
8.9.
Leah, what you got?
Man, I give the entire weekend. I'll just go on a limb and say it was solid 9.5 or 10.
Mm.
What?
Wow.
Okay, I wouldn't say 10. 9.5.
Leo enjoyed
Okay,
himself.
No, no.
Leo had a
Say, look, say what you want. Say what you want, but let me say this, and this is the last thing I'll say on it. If you have not been to an expo, it's not about the event. It's not about what you see on the show floor, because the reality is we can see all of this stuff from the comforts of our home. It's about the people. It's about hanging with each of you guys, creating a community. It's about a brotherhood. It's about just being around you guys and just being able to be ourselves and have fun. So for me, that's what it's about. And that's why I rank it pretty high, solid 9.5 or 10. You guys made this weekend fun.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
So
Pilot
yeah.
depth, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna back that up because as it being my first expo and talking to all you guys on Discord and stuff and through the chat and stuff, it's been really fun actually meeting up with you guys in person and hanging out and having a great time. And obviously, looking forward to expo and stuff. I'm kind of sad because like 6 months ago, we were all, let's go to expo. But like the week before, I was like, dang, it's already here. So now I gotta wait. I gotta wait another whole year till MSP. But I mean, it was a great time. Obviously, seeing all the new and upcoming stuff for Flight Sim and stuff. But big thing was the community. At the end of the day, meeting up with all you guys, it was a great time hanging out, and just enjoying the time we had. So
Oh.
I'd probably give it a 9.6 out of 10, you know?
9.6.
Man, you guys got these high
Yeah.
ratings.
Wow.
Sheesh.
CST, what you got, bro? Let's go.
Oh, he's about to say.
Look,
I'm scared.
Uh-oh.
CST gonna
I'm
give
scared
it.
now.
3 next.
No, look. I obviously I go, right. So the reason why I go to these things is because I enjoy going, for those reasons, right? To build relationships, to meet new people, and all that good stuff. That's literally the way I look at it. That's a big percentage of why we all go to these expos. You know, except for the newbie first timer. You know, he's there to check out. You know, all the different peripherals and stuff like that. That's great. A lot of the stuff that we see at Expo is stuff that a lot of us have previewed to before we even see it at the Expo. Let's be honest. You know, I feel blessed to kind of have some of those accesses, but as far as grading, I think there's things that could be done better, and I've already mentioned some of those things. Treating media partners like media partners and letting us do media, right? Giving us slots. I feel like, you know, they gave us a little title, you know, be a media partner, but then when it comes down to it, we didn't do anything for the expo. You know, we were just, you had a little badge as that media partner, but you couldn't really do anything media related. So I think that would be a big plus. Friday could be a little bit different. You know, I think if they could make Friday a little bit more exciting, and not make it feel like it's a waste of time, in a lot of sense. Even though, like I said, some things are great about it, but there could be so much more on that Friday, right? You know, and I think there's a couple of things that they could definitely expand on. I'll probably give it a nice 7 or 8.
Not bad. And by the way, guys, don't forget, Evan said reach out to them with your ideas and I think they'd
Yeah.
send out a survey and let them know. Let them know
Oh,
your
yeah.
feelings. You know, be truthful about what you actually feel about.
Yeah, because we
Take
shape
adjustments
the
into consideration.
future of Flight Sim Expo. If you don't say anything that you don't
Yeah.
about stuff that you dislike, then it's not going to change.
Awesome. All right, my
I
turn.
guess
Are
I'll
you
give my
good?
rating. I'll do mine,
Yes,
and you could
sir.
do yours last, and
Yeah.
we'll get out. I had a couple other things before I give my rating. I want to point out that was brought to me by other people. One of them was the media partner lounge that they had. Did you guys even know that was there or see it?
Lame.
I passed it, and
I
it
pa-
wasn't like the one that we had previously.
I
It
saw
was
snacks and I was contemplating if I could take them or not. I didn't, but that's all I saw.
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that was that back in Vegas. We had the media partner lounge. What was the media partner lounge? It was Q8's thing, and he invited a
Right.
bunch of us streamers to do streaming and hang out. I love that concept. I
That was
hoping
awesome.
we'd have it again in Providence. Sadly, it didn't turn out that way. Last minute, they reached out to a bunch of us streamers saying, "Hey, do you guys want to do this concept again?" Except, I'm just being transparent. They wanted us to pay to kind of pitch in for it, which is fine. But I didn't see value in doing it. And now looking at it and knowing that somebody paid for that location, like I feel bad because nobody was there. And I didn't really see a purpose for it. But anyway, that was one thing that I would love to see happen. In addition to what CSE is saying about how the media have a better, more thing, like have like a streamer media location hangout lounge that we can actually use and be useful and all that. Another thing was people were complaining that the food was not good in the convention center. Like the little snack area they had, I didn't go eat over there,
Yeah,
but
I didn't
apparently it wasn't very good. It was like 7-Eleven food is what I was told. Um, Also, more things to do, like more organized. Like I know one of the issues we had a couple rental cars and we're walking the street trying to figure out what to do on Friday or a Saturday or whatever. And I got like 5 different groups of people doing completely different things, different locations. But like having more things, like I don't know, like I feel like we didn't really have a good like itinerary or like suggestion of places to go like after expo. It was like, oh, there's restaurants area, but they don't like give you any like specific places for you to go or check out. And so we're all just kind of like having to do our own research and find whatever. I found a couple really dope spots. We found this really cool arcade place that was amazing. We found this place that had like level 99. Remember that? That was
Yeah.
cool. And so I was like, man, that should have been on the Flight Sim Expo website. Those are things that are nearby in walking distance that were super fun to do. But anyways, I have tons of feedback. I'm not gonna go all the way in that. My rating though for Flight Sim Expo this year, I've been to 5 now. And I'm gonna give you guys, for those who have been to expos in the past, I'm gonna kind of give you where I'm rating this. So if Orlando, which I think was one of the best expos ever, was a 9. Houston, I think also one of the best expos ever, besides the heat. Just talk about the expo. Was darn near like a 9 point, maybe 9.2.
Was that
Was-
because it was in your backyard?
I
And
was about to
No,
say
because it was in a freaking
Yeah.
museum. It was in a museum.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
This one for me would have be around a 8.5.
Right.
8. Let's go 8.2. 8.2. Very specific. I go to 8.2. Would recommend. Yes.
Yeah.
All 3 days for me.
And I think each one of you guys are rating it obviously based on your own experience, but based on different things that you experience in it, right?
Mhm.
For me, this expo is up there as well, and for different reasons. I like the connection to the hotel with the convention center. Easy walk back to the room if you have to go pick something up or take a break, whatever. Or if you travel with a spouse who's really not into flight sim, they're like, all right, we're going back to the room. See ya. They're right there. Like in Houston, hand of God, she took the car keys and drove back to the hotel, bro. And that was like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
because they had that one split into 2
Yeah.
hotels, plus the convention was like way over. Yeah, so
Yep.
that was not great.
And I think I bummed the ride with you, Blue, because she left. She's like, I
Mhm.
called her like, oh, I'm sleeping. It's like, damn it. All right, here goes my ride. But so as far as location, the hotel location, yeah, I like that. More people. And real quick, by the way, do you like the floor layout this time where there's a lot more personal space, but it felt empty even though there's more people than ever? Or do you like it more cramped like Houston, like you were rubbing elbows?
space. The
You love the
space. We need
space.
the space.
The
Yeah.
space was good.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it felt comfortable this year. It felt
Yeah,
comfortable.
yeah.
Interesting.
The space was good. So the space was premium. And
Yeah.
the vendors had a bigger space too.
Mhm.
They got to spread out and use the space that they had, and you
Yeah.
stand beside people and touch. So I like that. The Friday presentations, I guess now know that some do good and some people are not going to do so good, but they did save the best for last, which is WinWing, the house down. I was cheering like an idiot,
Mhm.
That's cool.
I think we all
And
were.
then-
XP.
Yeah. And then the camaraderie with all of you guys. Up with you guys walking over that bridge, talking crap and, and so forth. So I'm going to give this one for me, honestly, 9 out of 10. It's going to be a 9 out of 10. Orlando was my first. I didn't know. And I only showed up this
Cut out.
Saturday and left. Yeah, Orlando was my first one. And I didn't know anybody or anything. And I only came one day. So that was like a 7, but it brought me into the thing. But this one's like a 8.5, 9 for me too. I enjoy this. So, but yeah.
Now, hopefully Minneapolis will be good. I don't know much about the hotel
So, I mean,
or
it'll be great.
location. What I do hear is that plane spotting is supposed to be really good.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm ready
Oh,
for that. I'm ready.
100%, dude. 100%.
And I'm excited about that. I'm definitely signing up for the airside tour this time. I want to get on the
But I'm
ground
with you on that.
in Minneapolis. I want to be in the tower. And so here's the
Yeah.
thing. I want to do all that stuff in Minneapolis because it's a bigger airport, larger. Hopefully we can stand next to an A350 at some point. I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's gonna be dope. Plane spotting in Providence, as I always know, was it was like
Nothing there.
It was pretty stale, but we caught a couple things. So it's
We got to see flight stream relief. That was pretty cool.
we did we
I
caught
remember
flight
that.
streamer fly on his diamond.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. That's
So,
pretty good.
any
But-
last thoughts on Expo? Anything we didn't talk about that you want to kind of comment on, or about next year?
Let's
Have we
go.
covered it all?
I
Let's
think we
go.
kind
I'm
of.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on
Good.
everything, and
Yeah.
hey, I think the countdown begins again.
Yeah.
Who's counting, right? Nobody's counting.
Yeah. And also book early. I learned that worked out perfect for me. I
Yeah.
booked
Oh
the
yeah.
flight and I
100%.
booked the hotel real early, and I got what I wanted. It
Mhm.
wasn't a last minute thing. So if you can, and somebody mentioned it's now in
Wait, say it
June,
again?
then it's 1 week earlier in June than
It is.
yeah. So
On the 12th. It
Yeah,
starts
weather's
on
pretty good
the
out there.
12th of June. It starts Friday 12th.
12th
All
to
right.
the 14th. Yep.
all you guys are streamers. What's your next plane gonna be that you Blue? What's your next plane?
That I'm flying for streaming or
Yes.
content?
Yes.
Well, CRJ got updated today. So thinking about checking that out, but honestly, I have no freaking clue.
CST, what are you flying next? What plane?
I'm actually I'm excited about the CRJ and checking out the new flight model. However, my next stream is going to be the return flight from Portland, from Providence, that I did. My before I went to the expo, I did my fly out to the expo, replicated my flight, and my next trip is going to be replicating my return flight. So I'm going to do PVD, Midway, and OKC in the Max.
Pilot Depth, what's your next one?
Next stream I'm probably gonna be in the Airbus and then probably hop into that CRJ. So, yeah.
What about you, Leo? What you got?
Leo, we're gonna do our short return leg back down to Baltimore from Providence. That's what we're gonna do.
Which plane? Which plane you gonna fly?
Oh, the 800 NG. It's not a Max. It's not a Max. But yeah, we got an 800 NG. So it's not a Max.
What you got, Owls? What are you flying next?
Not the Max.
Probably the 350 ULR. But I really want to get my hands on this Citation X. It seems like a lot of people kind of forgot about that thing.
I'm with you.
I want that Citation X.
That's coming very, very soon.
It's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait. XP, what are you flying?
For me, I'm going back to Boeing, man. I'm done with this Airbus. I've been in Airbus for 2 weeks now. I'm done. I'm good. I'm going back to Boeing, and it's going to be the Max, I think. It's going to be the Max or the 7. I want to do what CST is doing and fly back from Providence, and do one last lap of that convention with him and head out
45
town.
plane conga line again.
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's go.
Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. I'm going to fly tomorrow. I think I'm going to stream tomorrow. I don't know if you guys want to join up and do a something out of Providence back down. Did you guys see the controllers who brought us into Providence?
Yeah.
They're like ages
Yes.
10 and 11. So
Yeah.
let's give them some. Let's give them some. credit.
Yeah, give VATSIM control of the booth. We ain't talked much about the VATSIM booth. Those guys were killing it
Oh,
at
man,
Expo.
yeah.
It was amazing seeing them in person, and also seeing how young a lot of them are, and just,
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
cool.
Shout out VATSIM. I had a good conversation with them. We made amends and we squashed bygones. So that was good. But yeah, I'm gonna fly out of Providence tomorrow. So you guys
Okay,
are
yeah,
up for that?
we'll do that then.
Let's
Well,
do
let's
it.
go
Before you
Providence.
guys,
And then everybody can fly into their respective airports.
yes,
Where they
sir.
want to fly. Yep.
Before you guys close it out, I like to say that getting a lot of good feedback. We should do this more often, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
People are loving
Chat.
it.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think we should
Yeah.
get together like this at least once a month and do a streamers confab like you see right here?
That's for all chats, by the way.
Yeah, all chats. One in
Yeah,
the chat
everybody.
if you like this format. 2 in the chat if you like. Nah, go about your business. Let's see them. Let's go. Let's see, because I like it personally. I like to have you guys. We can run stuff on. There's so much things to talk about flights.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm
like the fact
getting
that we get
I'm getting some yes in the chat.
True. Awesome. Appreciate
Shout out to Pilot Al's dad and Pilot Dev's mom.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know for
Can't
bringing
forget
them,
them.
right? Yeah.
Cannot forget them. Lucas, you have the best mom, bro. She's cool as a fan, dog.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
She's cool as a
Yeah.
fan. Al's your dad too, bro. They're cool.
Yeah.
I call
I ain't gonna hold you,
myself.
man. I almost danced with your mom. I almost did.
Oh gosh.
I almost danced with your mom.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right. And
First
cut.
it's CST, now it's bro.
Hey,
Let's get
hey.
past everybody around here, man.
Is that video?
Oh.
Is that video? Is that video already out in the
It's on my
in the web?
story. It's on my
man.
story.
That was that was a good time, man. That was a good time. That's all.
was
That's
good.
all I'm
It
gonna
was
say about
good.
that.
Everybody's link, I don't think it's in the description now. Let me put it in. Everybody's link here is in the description of this video. Go sub to all these guys. If you're not sub, discovered somebody new today that you've never seen.
Appreciate it, XP.
You got everybody here.
Thank you.
Go hit that sub for all of these guys. See, let me not.
Greg
Don't
said
end the
Blue, you're
stream
not
yet
the
until
only one.
No way.
Oh, damn.
He said, "Don't
Alright,
end
I
the
think it's
stream
getting
until
late.
you do." Uh oh.
I think it's getting late, chat.
Good
I
thing I
think
got
it's
a. Hey,
getting
good
late,
thing I got
chat.
the. Good thing I got the next level racing recliner.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lucas, don't bring your mom
Nah,
in.
I'll be
that's
flying by
right.
myself.
by yourself.
Apparently, Lucas's mom is not safe at Expo anymore.
No,
Nice, man.
she was not. She was not safe.
Yeah, bro. She's. Yeah, shout out to her for bringing you, man. Hold on,
Awesome.
don't go anywhere yet.
Oh my
I
god, that's
am
horrible.
adding the link for everybody's channel in the description, so you guys can go ahead and join. We have, but yeah, I think we could definitely do once a month on this. There's so much stuff
Yeah.
That's
that we got to
awesome.
talk about, like the fact that we get millions of dollars in endorsements, and we're lying about what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
That,
By the
that
way,
would-
today's stream is sponsored by no one. So if you're watching, if you're
Right.
watching, and you like to sponsor the Blue Experience
Oh.
podcast, hit us up on our email at blueexperience@gmail.com. I'm just kidding. Is that our email? I actually don't know. Anyways,
Oh yeah. By the way, the Blue Experience channel. We didn't say this to anybody, but we got demonetized a while back last year. Don't ask.
What?
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
so
they
we do
demonetized-
all this for free, by the way.
We do all this for free
For
Yeah.
now.
for now.
Oh,
But yeah, they demonetized us.
that's
No,
that's that's
Oh, yeah.
that's
no, no.
Yeah,
No, no.
Oh yeah. Because me and Blue broke the cardinal rule. We can't post up our material on our second channel because they said so. But
Wow.
you know,
okay.
yeah.
I was chatting saying big up to your dad too, man. He was cool.
He was
Cool.
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
out with y'all
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the whole time. It was
I
funny.
call him.
Yeah.
I call him Al Senior.
I was standing out there vaping, and he just walks up. He was like, "Bro, you good?" It's cool. We just sat out there. I'm standing out there, just getting a little smoke break, and yeah, he was coming from that. I think I told you that Japanese place.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, cool dude, man, cool dude.
Mm.
Yeah.
For everybody that sees the videos later on of him just disappearing, that's not me. That was him just disappearing. I just looked that set straight. Thank you.
So yeah, everybody's link is up in the chat right now. Please do me a favor before you leave and hit that sub button. Definitely, these guys more than worth it. And one of the coolest thing that happened at Flight Sim Expo, and this is why I love Expo. I was standing talking to a family. Guy had 2 daughters, husband and wife, and he got a young daughter about 15, 16. She was going to start flying, and he wanted to get her and ask questions about it. And immediately I saw Owls. I'm like, that's a dude. Talk to that dude right here. I'm like, Owls, come talk to these people. Because Owls, of course, have the hookup as far as what's available for flying and help, finances and stuff. And they exchange like social media thing. I don't know how they did it. Tap. Like, wow, this is beyond me. I'm an old guy. And that was the coolest thing. So, things happen at Expo. So anyway, Blue, it's all yours,
Absolutely.
man. You got this.
Yes,
all you,
sir.
my dude.
Thank you guys so much for watching. By the way, first of all, thanks CST. Thank you, Pilot Def.
Thank you for having us, man.
Leo.
Thank you for having
Owls,
me.
Everybody coming out. Looks like the chat unanimously has voted that they want to do this more often. So we'll see if we can make this happen once a month, starting next month. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Until
Thank
next
you.
time, remember you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all. You got this. Is the Blue Experience Podcast. Catch us here on YouTube on the Blue Experience Podcast YouTube channel. We are also on all of the places that podcasts are listened to, so check us out there as well. But anyways, guys, having a great day, great night, and we'll see you at Expo next year in Minneapolis. Is that how you say it? Something like that? Yeah. All right, we out of here. See you. Everybody
Later,
say see you.
guys.
See you. Salute.
All right, and we are out. Oh, that screen is not large enough. Let's go to
I was
this one.
frozen.
There we go.
Yeah, that was, I thought you were frozen for a second. No, fantastic, guys. This is all. This form. This is good.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know. Yeah. This is right. You know, so we could do this. Nice indeed. Good deal. Because
Alright.
Hey,
Blue, we had a lot of requests from Expo